everything.
What's up, y'all? Kofi Kingston here, and I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks, depending on what that drink is, preferably non-alcoholic, you know?
How's it going? I'm Kelly Warrior Shane.
Soda.
I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Maple syrup.
Fella.
I would never have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Son of a bitch. Here we go. Dude, we're live. We're live. We're doing this. Guys, welcome back to Wrestling on the Rocks, to episode 1. That's right. Wrestling on the Rocks. Every show is our first show. I'm at Ref Marsh, and I am merely one half of the legendary podcasting duo, IIRonics. Other half with me, naturally, Kevlar. Say hello. What's up?
What's up? How you doing? I'm Kevlar on the Rocks with an X.
With an X.
Back again.
Back again, and it does look like we're having technical difficulties. This is amazing, fantastic. From what I can tell, we may not be on YouTube. We may also not be on the Facebook, but who knows? We'll see. There was one day we went live, and it said we were definitely offline for the whole show on Twitter. And then when we went back and looked, the whole thing played. So it said not at all, no chance. And then we were there. It was
No chance in hell.
Okay, there we go. Okay, here we go, guys. We're doing it. We did it without the producer. We're doing this. This is how we do things here. Producerless. Ooh. Let's see. Oh my God, I should have cleaned up my table here a little bit. I did not think this completely through. Okay.
You don't got the ladies' touch.
Yeah, no. She's always considering all these things, and I consider virtually none of them. And then we go live, and I have my ice and my booze, so I felt like, what else could I ever need? And it turns out there's more. Kev, how you doing, man? How you doing?
Good.
It's been
How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Pretty good. Oh.
Trying to stay cold.
Trying to stay cold. It's 138 degrees outside at any given minute.
I was literally going to say the same exact thing. 138. That's weird.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I mean, if you catch a nice wind chill, you get to like 134. So that's what we're doing here.
Then you got to put on a jacket.
Oh, yeah. It's too cold.
Yeah, windbreaker.
Kev, I'm going to start off with our sponsor, and then we're going to get into what are we drinking. Are you cool with that?
Sir.
Let's do it. Guys, we are still sponsored by New Wave, NOOWAVE coffee, newwave.co.co is where you can buy their coffee. If you use the promo code CHEERS, you can get an additional 10% off of the already ongoing sale. This coffee is fantastic. Let me read it off the. I'm just gonna read it. Flow State coffee. Oh, it's Flow State. New Wave, Flow State. I'm in all that. Dude's out of Florida half the time, in New York the other half the time. He's actually an independent wrestler. So promote him, promote independent wrestling. He was trained by Lance Storm, so you know he's got to be good. But it says Flow State coffee is specialty grade coffee with L-theanine and raw cacao for productivity and creativity. Better energy, focus, and mood than a regular cup of coffee, while decreasing the negative side effects like anxiety and blood pressure. So guys, go through, check out this coffee, get a bag, get a mug, get a shirt, get whatever you want. And also, the promo code will work on your subscription. They have subscription services. You can get a new bag of coffee, I believe once a week, every other week, then once a month, and then every other month are the packages that are available. And you can use the 10% off promo code CHEERS, to go ahead and get 10% off the initial order. The first bag will be an additional 10% off. Following bags will not. So, and it looks like, according to our sources, New Wave now accepts Bitcoin. So if you want to subscribe via Bitcoin, there you go. Do it. Cheers to New Wave coffee.
Cheers.
Yeah, we haven't gotten you any yet, have we? But you don't drink a ton of coffee, do you? You like 1 cup, right?
Yeah, 1 cup every once in a while.
Like every once in a while. It's not even like daily, right? You wake up at like 3 in the morning and you just go, yeah, I guess this is what it's like now.
Normally, the day after I do a show, I need a cup of coffee.
That's your once a week? Was right after the show?
Pretty much. Every Wednesday.
Yeah. I have a cup of coffee on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. No, we're going to have to get you some too so you can try it. I know Clump has ordered some of his, so we're going to get some around here. Let's see. Jumping into the chat real quick. We have Justin Time coming through. Thank you, Justin. Cheers to you.
Cheers.
Oh, shit. I can't even cheers. Let's pull back a little bit. What are you drinking, Kev?
Get ahead of yourself. I'm drinking Crown Peach and sweet tea. It's delicious.
Crown Peach and sweet tea? That sounds amazing.
It is amazing. It tastes just like peach tea.
All right. Peach tea. Let's see. I'm going to have Elijah Craig pour some to me now. God damn it. Forgot my ginger ale. Kev, kill 2 minutes. Keep talking.
And West Philadelphia, born and raised on the playground.
It's going to burn us on the copyright.
So I
It's
stopped.
so real to life. All right, I'm back. All right, I'm having Elijah Craig with a little bit of ginger soda because Bishop likes butane. So let's see. Also in the chat, we got Fab Tina. We got Queen Bee. Cheers to Queen Bee 2013. Thank you for coming through. Cheers to you.
Cheers.
Oof.
Thank you, Justin, for the gifted tier to Miss Fab Tina.
Oh,
Very nice.
cheers. Cheers to Justin for that. There we go. All right. Here we go. Kev, let's see. Well, let's do a couple. No, we're back on track. We're doing this. We got it. Let's do a couple of the easy ones. We got some new stuff going on. I guess there's just a couple like easy little cheers, man. So we got Renee Paquette, formerly Renee Young. She had her baby, a little baby girl.
Nice.
I did not catch the name or the weight because I'm not a weirdo, but she had a baby, so congratulations to having a baby. Baby Moxley.
Cheers, by the way. Congrats.
Do you think when she had the baby, the doctor went, and new?
No,
No? All right.
I don't think so.
I just felt like she would. So here's the funny bit. As long as we're talking about the IWC, as we always do, and we try to take them to task from time to time, the WWE put out a post that said congratulations. It said big congratulations to Renee Paquette for welcoming into the world a young baby girl or something like that. Dude, the comments on there were all just shitting on WWE. How could you? This is bullshit. Oh, yeah, fucking right. And you're like...
So stupid.
What?
Well, the thing that gets me is, like, they're damned if they do, they're damned if they don't. If they don't say anything, they're evil. If they say anything, then they're evil.
Yeah. If they didn't say it, they'd be like, oh, well, they did for Becky. That's some bullshit.
Yeah.
Then Renee has a baby. You know what's funny? I bet you people are just fucking bitter because they didn't say Moxley.
I was thinking that. Because I thought it would show, a little class for them to be like, hey, we still recognize you, even though you're someone else now.
You know what I wish he had done? I wish they had done that, pull that bullshit they pull sometimes, where they, instead of tagging John Moxley's account, they would just put the words Dean Ambrose. Yeah. I love when they do shit like that, dude. Where they'll like tag Jeff Hardy in something and be like, on this day, at Jeff Hardy won the title with his brother Matt Space Hardy. No at and stuff. Like, we're not tagging you. So fucking I love that
Matthew
shit.
James Hardy. I don't know his real name.
Yeah. Matthew Extreme Hardy.
It would have been better if they said congratulations on the new puppy of justice.
New puppy of justice? That'd be good. That'd be good. Let's see. So, yeah, they're damned if they do, damned if they don't. And I love the petty shit, so I got a kick out of it. Queen Bee says, you guys rock. Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks.
That's where the rocks comes from. I was kidding. That was bullshit. Let's see. Other news. It's Bailey's birthday, dude.
Ding dong. Happy birthday.
Ding dong. Happy birthday. Idiots. No, really good. Hope she's having a good time. I saw some of her friends are posting pictures of her. I like it when Natty will post little video clips of her basically beating up Bailey backstage in the locker room. That stuff cracks me up. Just because it's also funny to me because it's like, how much do you love the business that when you're in the back, you're like, actually, put me in the sharpshooter. You know what I mean? Like, because how many times do we hear about guys? I mean, I hear about it at least. I don't know, but you hear about people. It's like, well, when they're working, they're truly working, but when they're not working, they really don't want anything to do with wrestling during those times. And the idea of people having headphones on in the back or all that stuff that you hear about, like, yeah, I like it when you see that the locker room is fucking basically wrestling in the back because they are killing time for their match. Like, how fucking cool. So, I don't know. I get a kick out of that stuff. Let's see. The other bit of news I saw, Sheamus is still looking for the thief that plunked his cross. So I guess he's missing his cross. I got a feeling Ricochet is behind it if I had to guess. Yeah, Spinner Fox coming through. Ding dong to the best WWE wrestler ever. Hello. He's correct. He's correct. No one's better than Bailey. Absolutely. This is the one time a year that I really miss having long hair again. I could have put my hair up and squared up. You know what I mean? Done the old ponytail on the side gimmick. The producer hated. She could not stand it.
That's when you need a hairpiece.
Ooh. Oh, dude, you know what I have? I didn't even think about it. I still have those felt ones that I made for you guys. Remember the headband with the fake ponytail coming off of it? I totally still have that. I should have worn it. I fucked up. Fucked up on that one. I'll take a picture with it and post it later.
I can do Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
I didn't get to hit the second verse, so I can keep rolling.
Exactly.
Kev, I don't really have any other news. I don't know if there's anything that happened. I'm trying to think. Did you watch TakeOver?
I did not.
Okay. I didn't think so.
It's on my to-do list.
It's all right. We're not reviewing TakeOver. I just wondered if you saw it and see if you had a couple words about it. Let me see if I can scroll real quick. Could have sworn somebody was fired or something. I don't know. I don't think so.
It's a weekly thing, though.
I mean, they're always firing people. Just what happens. Fuck it. Let's just get into it, dude. Let's talk about it. Let's talk Smackdown. You ready for it?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm not ready. Give me. I don't know. I don't know why you put me on the spot, and I wasn't gonna be ready.
My bad.
All right. Let's see. Here we go. Oh my God. All right. Dude, it started off with all the Roman Reigns and Uso stuff. The video package on it, so fucking good. Let's see. Oh, yeah. So it starts off, it's got Jay and Roman sitting in the back, and they're talking, and the camera's tight on them. And Roman saying things like, he's not my brother. He doesn't look just like me. He's like, no one's going to confuse him for me. He's like, you better do something about this. And boom, all of a sudden you hear the Usos music plays, and it pans over to the TV where it shows the beginning entrance of Jey Uso's coming out. And it just zooms in on Roman's face, just looking absolutely fucking pissed that he dare go to the ring and start the show without him. It was so fucking sweet. Dude, what'd you think about all this?
It was good. Just added to everything. Roman he's just petty about everything. It's so great. Mm-hmm. But his facial expressions and everything, world class.
Oh yeah. No. And then Jimmy's promo was fucking stellar. Mm-hmm. Let's just talk about their storyline as we go through it, dude. And then in the back, Jimmy and Jay are talking, and Jimmy tells Jay that he's going to be in our dressing room and goes to the back. Later on, you see Jay talking to Roman about it. Roman's like laughing about it. Oh, your locker room? Your dressing room. Yeah. Okay. Yours? Okay. He's on a fucking next level, dude.
Yeah. The only thing I wish they would have made their dressing room literally like a
like a what?
Like a broom closet.
Yeah.
You go in there, the vacuum's in there. It would have been so great.
Dude, that'd have been so good. It was kind of funny though when he went over there to their locker room to meet up with Jimmy. Mm-hmm. Part of me was all like, "Is that the other side of the same room?"
I know. I was thinking the same thing.
I was like, "How good would it be?" He's like, "I'm gonna be in our locker room," and then he fucking just walks to the other side of that little partition that's right there and sits down.
The camera just pans over.
Yeah. Bloop.
And we're here.
Dude, and how good was that? Jimmy and Roman going back and forth with Jay in the middle. Roman telling Jay to straighten him out. Jay flipping out, being like, I'm sick of both of you. He's like, I'm sick of you. I'm sick of you. I'm sick of both of you. He walks off. The way that Roman looks at Jimmy and was like, what do you want to fight? What are you out of your mind? This is family. Like the way that he turns it on Jimmy so fast.
Why would you do that to your brother?
Yeah, why would you do that to him?
He's been through a lot.
Yeah, he's been through so much. Dude. Anything you want to say about the Roman and Jimmy stuff?
That was great. It was, the promos are awesome. They have a lot of raw feelings. And it just comes out so natural and great. It's must-watch TV.
Yeah, I don't know. When I hear Roman a little bit sounds like he knows what he's about to say, but he says it in such a methodical way that it's almost like not so much scripted as he just knows what he's going to say. But the Usos, you'd be hard pressed to get me to believe a story where the Usos are scripted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, let's keep going through the show then. So Jimmy does that. Big E and Kevin Owens versus Apollo Crews and Sami Zayn. Is this right?
That's all I gotta say about that.
The match was decent, but yeah, there was... I don't know how I feel about Commander Aziz at this point? Like, because this was a situation where Aziz, well, like at this point, I just don't know why he's not in any matches.
Next week.
Is he scheduled for a match next week?
Yeah, because remember how Apollo said they gave him that chump Sami Zayn or that bum Sami Zayn? And it's like, how about you two versus us two type of thing?
Well, who's going to team up with Sammy?
No one. Sami's just out. He got fired. That's who got fired.
Oh, that's who got fired. He took the nail to the neck. Man, my notes do not have here what you're talking about. Oh, wait, here we go. Cruz challenged Big E and Owens to a tag team match, this time with Aziz's partner. I got you. Yeah. So Kevin Owens and Big E, they won the match. Sami Zayn ate the pin, and then, so now we're going to finally get Commander Aziz and Apollo, which is the right move to start moving that along. Yeah. I know Zayn did a really good network exclusive, internet, Twitter exclusive little interview where he was in the back and he was like having a hard time breathing and stuff with his throat, and his throat was all fucked up. It was really funny.
I wish they'd finally show his documentary.
Dude, I want that so bad. Because he keeps saying coming soon. And at this point, it's going to just get forgotten about. Like, we're at that point now where it's all like, you either just drop it and it goes away forever, or you release it and build something off of it. And I have no idea.
What's funny is McAfee brought it up, and I forgot about it. I was like, oh yeah. And then they had Logan Paul and all that bullshit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that now.
Although it is weird. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, during the match, Aziz looked kind of confused on the outside. Like, he looked like he didn't know where to stand.
Yeah.
He was moving around clunky, and, just shows to how green he still kind of is.
Yeah, that's true. That's true for sure. Can you imagine he goes in there and he's just like flops around all weird, like a deer on new legs? I don't know, man. I think it's a little bit weird at this point, the amount of tag team matches. It does feel like, we've talked about it before, there's like quite an issue with SmackDown as pertains to the world title picture. The Universal title is just so unattainable because of the level that Roman is on, that the Intercontinental title seems to become really important in that regard, but they did a pretty good job going into WrestleMania with like saying believably that Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn's, Big E, and Apollo Crews were all in that conversation. But ever since that Mania, that's been like every match has been like all four of them involved in some way or another. And it feels like the kind of thing you could sort of spread out a little bit. Make
100%.
more one-on-one.
And I think the IC has gone downhill quite a bit, because I'm more interested in the King's Crown than I am the IC title.
Oh my God. I'm 100% on board with that. Yeah, at this point it seems a little bit like a placeholder. Here's the other weird bit. So we've talked about before how the Intercontinental title has, like, what a cool way they were utilizing it to like rebuild Apollo Crews, get him back on that level. At this point, you basically have four main eventers fighting over the Intercontinental title, so it really, you're not watching anybody grow. Like, you're seeing good matches and you're seeing great promos, but you're not watching anybody get to another level. They're already at high levels. People are already been talking about when is Big E going to take the Universal title off Roman. People think that that's going to happen, and I don't know if it will or won't, and whatever. It is what it is. But the conversation's out there. He's already seen in that light.
See, I think that goes hand in hand with the storyline not regressing in.
Yeah.
Because, they're just, like you said, they're just repackaging basically the same match since WrestleMania.
Yeah. Yeah, they need to go in somewhere. Do you think them releasing Aleister Black fucked up all their Intercontinental title plans, so now they're kind of in a holding pattern?
Maybe, but if that's the case, then why release him?
Yeah,
or even why give him the push to begin with?
Yeah, he's probably the greatest mystery of all time when it comes to the releases. He was actively involved in a storyline. He had actively been on TV that same week, interfering with the match. Just made his big return. He had a shirt on pre-order. Wasn't even available yet, but you could pre-order it. And then he's gone. I do think that that's a right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing kind of thing. And I think that Alistair's name was a name on a list. And I don't think the people who do the day-to-day TV was heavily involved in that decision. Personally, I don't know because nothing else makes sense. But
I mean,
if
you look at the last set of releases, like, every year, there's going to be releases and stuff like that. And, there's going to be one or two casualties where like, oh, man, I like that guy, like Mojo or Mojo.
Yeah.
But for them to release Lana, Aleister Black, and Braun Strowman, who have been on TV pretty regularly.
Yeah.
Aleister just started coming back, but to release those three out of, kind of left field, it was a surprise to me. Where I'm like, they were on TV. Normally when you hear somebody getting released, you normally don't see them for months.
Yeah. Yeah, like when Zack Ryder and Brian Myers got released, you're like, yeah, well, it's a bummer because I like those guys. But realistically, they had like 1 or 2 matches in the whole last year. So I was like, well, kind of makes sense. They don't know what to do with them. So, but you're right with guys like Alistair. And that's what I was thinking with this is because Alistair said on one of his Twitch streams that he had plans, that they had talked to him about plans going forward. He's like, it wasn't like forever plans, but it was, he had his match set up for the following week. He knew what match he was supposed to have on that coming up Smackdown. Like, he was supposed to be in a match with Big E. And so I wonder if that's the reason why we're getting these weird tag things here now, because it's all like, well, we either just push Big E aside or get him back involved in this, and I think it's been kind of sloppy because of that. And I think that, I think they fucked up letting Aleister Black go, but, whatever.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? But
yeah, it's tough to say because, normally, we like to play devil's advocate and look at both sides. And the other side, there is no other side on this.
yeah.
Really.
Yeah, you look at
he's
it.
getting paid a lot. Like, what?
Yeah.
Did he fail a drug test or something? Like,
Yeah. And even that
What's
with the
going
idea
on
of like
there?
getting paid a lot, like what is a lot to the WWE where it really affects their number? Like,
That
is
was-
honestly
yeah, that-
making a $1 million more dollars in a year, is that honestly going to bump their stock or something? Like, I just don't understand it. That's all. And I
Yeah.
can't make sense of it.
and that's the problem with us as wrestling fans when we can't understand things. That's when it gets frustrating.
And that's when we take to Twitter to show our backlash. That's where pointless aggression really comes through, really comes in handy. To just go online and be like, fuck. I'm glad I got to say my piece.
I got to get that off my chest.
Yeah. I'm glad Vince heard that. It's really going to go far. The amount of fucking tweets. I don't mean to harp on it, but the amount of fucking tweets I saw with the releases. Fuck Vince McMahon. This is why I hate Vince McMahon. Vince is such a piece of shit for this. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you think he's reading it? You think you're adding to the conversation? Like, what is the point of this? Like, it was ridiculous. But
Who was the guy that came out and said that he's sick of people thanking them when they get fired?
oh, Carl Anderson.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And I can see where he's coming from, but at the same time, a lot of these guys don't want to burn that bridge.
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing is Carl Anderson can say that because of how much money he earned there.
Yeah.
Like, fucking...
He doesn't need to go back.
He made so much money at the WWE, he doesn't need to go back. And now he feels he's got the biggest balls to go ahead and say, I could say fuck you to the WWE. Fuck them. They're wrong. Fuck them. Yeah. Yeah, you can say that because you have the comfortability of having made so much money there that you don't need to work there anymore.
As rumor has it, he might need to go back after his
Really?
hot Asian wife might take half.
I think those rumors were squashed, so I don't want to get into it.
No,
But
I don't know. I just heard one little rumor and I never looked at
never followed it back up. I think they're quite fine. But yeah, it's just one of those things. Like, why don't they just tell them to fuck off? Because maybe they didn't make fucking $3 million last year on their WWE contract the way you did. You fucking relax. Let's see. Let's hit the chat real quick. Queen Bee says we're the best streamers in the world, and I agree. I always like to know that someone is also drinking besides us because Queen Bee's clearly drunk. Spinnerfox says enter John Cena. I think it was about the IC title thing. He goes, when he goes, and that ship has sailed. Poor Big E. Spinnerfox says somebody didn't like him. It had to have been, but NGPW is going to gain from it. He's talking about trying to make sense of the Aleister Black thing. I don't know. I really, there's just no sense to me. It feels like someone saw a name next to some number and said, yeah, that one's got to go, and never associated it with a person, which is crazy to think. You know what I mean? Or never figured out who that was. What if his real name was just confusing to someone? Someone, like, you know what I mean? Like, realistically, how many of these people know the names of the characters on TV and their real names side by side when you go down to corporate office stuff? What if someone said, who is that person even? And no one could figure it out because, like, they didn't do a ton of research that goes, nobody knows? Well, fucking, we're paying somebody we don't even know who it is? You know what I mean? Can you imagine that?
Yeah. Well, it's clear that Gold members in the front office of the WWE, he hates the Dutch. So he just saw the name and fired him.
That's a good point. Good point. Somebody look up Aleister Black's real name. Let's see. He says Finn to SmackDown. Dude, I think Finn would be great over in SmackDown.
Yeah, 100%. I just hope it's not Adam Cole.
Fuck, I hope it's not Adam Cole.
Baby.
No, I don't understand the Adam Cole thing. I don't. I've seen a lot of people talk about it and say, well, no, he's believable because of his title reign. But his title reign wasn't believable to me. Like, I don't know. We don't need to talk about Adam Cole. I just hope it's not Adam Cole. I hope Finn Balor does show up on SmackDown. I think he'd do great over on Raw, too, to be honest. I think that he can bring life to it a little bit. They've been doing better the last few weeks. We'll talk about that. It's not as bad as it was 6 months ago. Let's see.
It's not saying much.
Well, yeah, it's not saying much, but it's getting there. Something's happening. Yeah. Let's see. Spinnerfox says the whole cuts are bull. They didn't take a loss. They didn't make out like dogs this year. They didn't have to spend on live events, crew, etc. Yeah, but that's all stuff that we just don't know. He goes, I want to see what Lana had to say about Vince, though. LOL, she's spilling the tea. Yeah, she said she was going to come out and say all the stuff that she's always wanted to say. Okay. I mean, I'm only partly interested, to be honest. Like, I'll be curious, but I mean, I've heard Lana interviews before and just went, okay. Like, let's see.
They're just trying to get you to watch.
Yeah, I think there's definitely clickbait to it. Let's see. Goes, they kept giving Tommy the runaround, how Tommy was telling a story on his Twitch and podcast. I heard the same thing, and it didn't feel 100% runaround to me. But they do talk about the process a lot. They always talk about that. Let's see. Well, let's see. We talked about that. Let's get back on track here. Back on track. Liv Morgan versus Carmella. Do you remember this?
I loved Liv Morgan's little Owen Hart themed gear. That's what it reminded me of.
Oh, it reminded you of the Blackheart stuff where it had the caution tape?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot like the Nugget gear. I don't think it was Owen Hart. It looks like what she does is there's somebody online who just draws up stuff, and she basically picks that and does it. So.
I mean, I as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, Owen Hart, sweet.
Yeah.
I don't think she did it on purpose either, but.
Yeah, but it's dope.
I'm
going to go back and find pictures, and I'll put them side by side and be like, I'll sort that out.
Who wore it best?
Yeah, who wore it best? Let's see. So we did end up with a little promo from Carmella, promo from Liv Morgan. Right? These were the promos on the way down, or was that last week?
No, I think that was last week.
That was last week. This one, they just did the match. They did the match. Liv gets the win. After the match, Carmella goes over to Greg Hamilton and had him announce, but still the most beautiful woman in WWE. and had Carmella. Said Carmella. I did like the Carmella fucking around with Michael Cole on commentary. Michael. But this was a bit weird. I mean, Liv gets a good win. It was a pretty solid match for the most part. And then at the end of the match, it goes back to being about Carmella, which was kind of interesting because I couldn't tell if I felt like it undermined the victory or solidified the importance of Carmella. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I like watching the match again, or, seeing the match 2 weeks in a row. I just felt like it's going to be another, like, Carmella stepping stone. Because it was so weird how they brought her back, gave her this huge push, gave her Reginald, took Reginald away, and then you didn't see her for a while.
Yeah.
And then now she's back, and it's like, cool, are they going to do that again? Or, what are they doing with it? And then, you have Liv Morgan, who just lost her tag team partner, and she got the win.
Yeah.
Which I'm okay with. Like, I just don't know where they're going with it.
I do think it's important. I know as much as people want to shit on 50-50 booking, like they're so smart that they know that 50-50 booking isn't good, but I do think that there's an aspect to it. If it weren't for 50-50 booking, you wouldn't think what you think of Sheamus and Cesaro. You wouldn't have got the bar. Literally, that was built on 50-50 booking. The idea of two people going back and forth doesn't show a lack of credibility on either side. It shows a consistency and competitiveness between two people. They are on a competitive, even playing field. So then it becomes more difficult to call who's going to win, hopefully, if it's not too pattern-like, that, on any given night it could be one or the other. That it's showing that they're on even playing fields. I will say that the finish was a little bit weird to me. I felt like Liv, for whatever reason, here's the weird bit. We see video that Liv puts out all the time of her training in the ring, and she is so smooth when she's training. But when she's out on TV, she gets a little clunky, and she seems to slow down, and she's not exactly where she needs to be quite yet. And it's really weird because you see her in the training stuff, and you're like, oh, she's incredible. Then you see like the finish of this match, and you go, why is Carmella just standing around and repositioning herself by herself a couple times? Yeah. It's because Liv wasn't where she ought to have been by then, and it's just a little bit weird. But that said, go ahead.
I was gonna say you get that in regular sports, where you have these guys that practice well, and on the practice field they're great. You're like, holy shit, this guy's gonna be great. Come Sunday or come game day, and they just don't show up. And you're like, where was the guy, kicking ass in training camp and on practice throughout the week?
Yeah.
And, instead, game day comes and you're this, turd. Yeah. And then you have the exact opposite where some guys just can't they don't practice well, or they don't, give it their all. And then game day comes and they're like, all right, flip the switch, let's do it. Now it's time to focus. And all of a sudden they're good.
All of a sudden they're good. Spinner Fox says stage fright.
Yeah. Wasn't that what was that Neanderthal that
Lars.
rapey one? Yeah.
Yeah, Lars had that thing. But I mean, that was so much more severe. So I wonder though. I don't know anything. That's the point of the show, is we're all just here to hang out, admit we know nothing, have drinks, and then be journalists.
Yeah.
But
professional journalists.
If I had to venture a guess, I think that there's a lack of chemistry between Carmella and Liv, and I think that they would be better served having more matches together off screen, which I don't know if that's even possible or a thing that they even do, but the idea of like house shows at the time, I would be like, oh yeah, Liv and Carmella should have every house match together. Because they, Matt Cardona. Oh wait, it's not released yet. I'm just going to say you should check out the new episode of Pro Wrestling for Life when it comes out on Thursday. If you're a Patreon, it'll be out tomorrow. Some really interesting stuff about chemistry in the ring. Oops. I mean,
Just
I
kidding.
well, I
We're gonna
mean,
edit that part out.
yeah, well, we'll cut it. No, well, I mean, so I do edit for the show, so I obviously am gonna see it before it's out. But I totally forgot that episode wasn't out yet, and I was about to completely talk about a section of their interview this week. So, really cool. If you guys like me, if you guys like X-Pac, if you go subscribe to Pro Wrestling for Life podcast, it's supportive for all people. So, either way, the idea
in my book.
Say what?
It's an 0 for 2 in my book.
Yeah,
You
0 for
and
2.
X-Pac.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
couldn't be worse.
Yeah.
So, I do think that perhaps that they need to work together better. It's almost so. Did you see? I mean, you must not have seen it. I don't think. But Liv Morgan was actually training with John Huber's kid, Brody Lee's kid. They were goofing off, having like a fake match, and they were going 100 miles a minute, and it was pretty dope to see. It was just a short clip. It was like 45 seconds. They were doing a bunch of stuff. But it looked so smooth and good, and I was like, I wonder if the problem is that Carmella and Liv don't trust each other enough. They just haven't been in the ring enough. And that kid doesn't know better than to not trust a professional wrestler. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that as a dig. I'm just saying that once you're an adult, trust is much more earned than when you're a kid. And that kid looks up to everybody who's a professional wrestler, justifiably so. His dad was a superhero. His dad was the man. So there's no reason why he wouldn't trust a professional wrestler, right? But as an adult and as a professional wrestler who's potentially gotten hurt before by other professional wrestlers, maybe that trust isn't just inherent, and maybe that's what the thing is. But I digress. I do think it's really good that Liv Morgan got the win here. I do like the idea of them putting Liv Morgan and Carmella together to learn together. I have no problem with what they're doing here. I'm really surprisingly very interested in what's happening with Carmella now, and this whole most beautiful woman in WWE, I feel like is going somewhere.
You think that's her versus Eva?
See, I thought about that, but Eva's on Raw. But I do think...
Not if there's 50-50 booking and they make Carmella and Liv a tag team, and then she can go to Raw. And then Eva and other Eva can tag team together.
Yeah. Spinner Fox does say maybe when the house shows come back, this stuff will go away, and we'll go away. They will have live match to get ready for the TV shows and pay-per-views. Yeah, that's what I'm wondering too. I mean, that's the reality of it. Is they would usually be on the road, have 3 or 4 matches with a guy before it ever made it to TV. And then Faptina says X-Pac is the man. Spinner Fox says maybe Liv is too fast for Carmella. Maybe that's what I mean. Maybe there's a joint lack of trust there. Maybe every time one of them wants to speed up, the other one goes, whoa, 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 whoa. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't know. And Just Time says, the Jimmy Corderas interview I did with the X-Pac was excellent. Thank you, Justin. I'm glad you got to see that and enjoy it. Cinefox says he's got his daddy's wrestling gene. He spelled gene, though, like pants, so I like that. He should be a great addition to any locker room. Down the line, for sure. All right. Kev, I was walking all over a lot. You have something you want to throw in there?
On Carmella and Liv?
Yeah.
Uh,
Beautiful woman.
No, not really. I'm a little curious to see where it goes from here, like you said. But, if recent history taught me anything, it's not to get invested in Carmella because they're just going to take her away and keep her away from us for a while.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and I think that it's good for Liv. Liv's got to look strong. She's got to look competitive. She's got to be interesting. I don't think that if Liv just suddenly started winning every single match she was ever in, that's the ticket. I really do think some losses and some wins matter in that regard. So, I don't know. I just see a lot of comments online, and I just think it's so fucking stupid. The amount of people, Kev, let's do it. Let's shit on someone for a second.
Yes, I love shitting on people.
I know you do. The amount of people who think they know better and say that 50-50 booking prevents anyone from truly getting over are idiots, first off. Secondly, the amount of people... Hold on, what was the second part? I forgot secondly. Go ahead. You tell me what you thought about 50-50 booking. We'll go there.
Oh, Elijah Craig got to you.
Yeah, no, it's hitting me.
Well, my biggest thing with 50-50 booking is, just in general, if you looked at win-losses like AEW, was going to implement, Dolph Ziggler would have like the worst record out there.
Yeah.
Like, he's lost so many times. And to say that 50-50 booking, buries people is a complete sham because, he's been multiple-time tag team champion, IC champion, stuff like that. He's held multiple titles, but yet I think if you actually look at it, like just what's on TV, I want to say he probably has a losing record.
Yeah. For sure. For sure. That doesn't mean that he's not good. People still recognize him as one of the best. Like, yeah. I love that the amount of people who are online. It's one thing when we all speculate about what we like in wrestling, what we want to see. Oh, I wish this happened. Oh, wouldn't this be cool? It's another thing to be all like, I could book this better. Really? You've booked a lot of wrestling? You took Austin to the heights that he got to? That was you who got The Rock where he was? But you want to tell Vince that he has no idea what he's doing with Liv and Carmella? Like, the fuck out of here. Like, everyone needs to calm the fuck down. Let's all just have fun and talk about wrestling and be drunk.
Done and done.
Yeah. Check. Let's see.
Now for the fun part.
Yeah. I don't remember the second thing. There was another thing online that I keep seeing, and I was like, get the fuck out of here with that shit. Fucking stupid. But let's see. So the next part was Ding Dong Hello Show. This is one where Bailey had on Seth Rollins, the king of drip, as he calls himself. A lot of people have a drip issue on WWE nowadays.
Gonorrhea.
That's the one, right? Gonorrhea makes you drip, right?
Anyway.
So, I'm just saying we got the king of drip. We got Johnny Drip Drip. Everybody's dripping. We got a drip stick. Like, there's a lot of drip happening.
That's what the kids say. It's the lingo.
Yeah. That's true.
Ric Flair drip.
Oh, well, he definitely. Well, never mind.
You got the drip stick.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, Spinner Fox says these two might be fillers, though Banks is coming back, so who knows? Yeah, I think part of it is just getting them ready. Like, I think part of putting Carmella and Liv together a few times is the fuck else are you gonna do with some of these talent? You just keep them on TV, keep them in people's minds, have wins, have losses, have people talking about them. The fact that you get Liv Morgan trending after a win because it's quote not the right win, then fuck, great. People like Liv, they'll go buy her shirts. Like, I don't understand it as a negative thing, and I do think that like, hey, you put Carmella and Liv on in a match, people will like it, they'll be happy about it, they'll buy the merch, and then eventually we get to an actual storyline with it. But hey, half of this stuff is just matches to have matches, right? That's what you do. You just get people in the ring, and then the other half is matches with incredible storyline behind it. But it all starts with just a match.
If you only had storyline, it'd just be a TV show. It wouldn't be a wrestling show.
Mm-hmm.
It's wrestling.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I mean, even Tony Khan. Tony Khan said that most of the matches he books are just matches he wants to see and not for any particular reason, and only a few of them have storylines moving him forward. So, I mean, like, you can't shit on the idea of, like, why are they in matches again? Like, because sometimes you just put them out there. Sometimes you just have a match. Let's see. Before
we get to the Drip King all the way, real quick, do you think they're doing the Carmella thing? Because it just dawned on me. The Carmella, beautiful, whatever they say, prettiest girl in WWE. Do you think they are finally gonna do the draft or the shakeup or the wild card or whatever the fuck they want to call it this year?
I do think so. I saw a bunch of people talking about the draft as though it had been announced it was going to be happening, but I couldn't find anything about it actually happening. So I imagine some dirt sheet somewhere said, "Oh, they'll probably bring back the draft," which they all say every year. So
because they're breaking the news.
Yeah, well, I said it first, so obviously it's happening. No, it's because they might or might not every year. So relax. So I think that it's possible.
This year, I'm calling it right now. This year they're going to call it the shuffle.
They're calling it the what?
The shuffle.
The shuffle? Ooh. I like that.
Because every year they change the name.
That's true.
I think they had draft 2 years in a row, then shake up.
Yeah, this year's the shuffle. I'm into it.
Now it's like a deck of cards, you're shuffling it.
Yeah, Shuffle it for SummerSlam.
Right before SummerSlam in Vegas.
Yep, there you go. I hope that they do something cool and original, like a casino battle royale for SummerSlam.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm just kidding. I did that to poke fun at Splinterfox. Splinterfox says,
"Oh gosh, how great would it be to have champions versus champion match, and they call it Double or Nothing?"
Oh. Be so good, dude. Just call it Double or Nothing matches.
Yeah.
So good. Splinterfox does clarify the record restarts every year for AEW. Yeah, they usually keep 2 records. I thought there was an all-time and a yearly, so it does restart.
Yeah, overall in year.
Yeah. I thought I saw both. So yeah, and he goes, let's not talk about AEW on this podcast anymore. There's too much hate. There's no hate. I just don't watch it. Neither does Kev. Neither of us watch it, so we have nothing to say about it. And he goes, let's just talk WWE's Pro WWE show. What makes you think this is Pro WWE? As I'm swimming in WWE merch.
Right when we think we don't have a producer.
I know.
Splinterfox steps in.
Yeah, Splinterfox just told me to shut the fuck up, man.
Splinterfox is gonna mute you in a second.
Yeah, he's gonna cut my mic and be like, damn it. No, it's all good. He's good. Let's see. He goes, Drip, you mean Johnny Drip Drip? Seth reminds me of a Uncle Creepy. I have no idea what that is. Like just a creepy uncle, I understand, but Uncle Creepy sounds specific to somebody. He goes, would be great to have a draft when they hit the road. Yeah, I agree. I want to see something change with the rosters. Especially I think Raw needs they need something. Mm-hmm. Like they've been getting better week after week, but I feel like something does need to change. It's starting to feel the rosters are feeling a little bit stale. Even with as good as I think SmackDown has been, I do think that a little fresh blood in there could be interesting for sure.
Well, see, I think they need to incorporate NXT with it too, because I think a lot of these people could, their careers could move forward by moving backwards. If that makes sense.
Yeah, like Finn Balor.
Yeah,
100%. Him going to NXT was probably one of the greatest things he could have done for his career. To be honest, I know he said he was only supposed to be there for like 3 months, but I think that like reinventing that character and giving it a new light, getting it some more buzz behind him, being able to just shift everything was fantastic for him. So I think moving people around.
Well, the problem was that they kept having Finn versus Brock and Braun, and it's like, come on, guys.
Yeah, I hear you. Justin says he never liked the word drip, and the WWE is abusing it. It makes me hate it more. Yeah. I mean, I don't mind the word drip in and of itself as a word, but like drip as a descriptor is a bit weird, and the amount of people using it right now is uncomfortable. There's just a dripping problem over there. There's a lot of people dripping over there.
Yeah. I mean, I heard drip like years ago. So I think WWE's like behind the times.
Yeah. That's a good point. Drip was probably years ago. I hope Vince McMahon came into an interview and saying, guys, we need to say drip.
We need drip. Right after drip, let's get moist. Morrison, you're
Yeah. Yeah. Morrison's like, I've got this, boss. Put me in.
Yeah. Hold my beer. I got this.
Any problem with me having drip in my hair? I don't know what that means, but go ahead. And then he stencils and drip goes, that's not what I envisioned, but here we are. Spinnerfox does say, see, talk all that shit, but when AEW's on, the show flies by fast for me. Well, I mean, time flies by when you're asleep. Let's see. I really think all wrestling shows, not just WWE, are holding back until the fans come back. I think so too. I think because we're so close to full capacity now, because remember at the beginning of the pandemic, nothing was happening, and they're like, oh, we're waiting for fans to come back. And then after like 2 or 3 weeks, it's all like, we can't not do anything. And then the show started doing stuff. And about halfway through, it's all like, okay, well, we have to just kind of do shows now. So they kind of started picking up. And then by this point, we're so close to having full capacity crowds allowable on tour that now it feels like they're back to where we were at the beginning, where it's like, well, do you think we can hold off a little bit? Like, can we stretch this a month or two so we can start You know what I mean? Like, it feels like the sandwich end to it. It feels like the other end. You know what I mean? So I agree with that. And
You got the other. What's the other end of the loaf called? Or the end of the loaf?
I used to call it the butt.
Butt?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got the butt of the loaf.
Yeah, we said butt bread. Butt bread was a popular thing. I mean, butt bread basically is buns, right?
I can see it in your household. Growing up.
Oh, yeah. And then Spinner Fox says, if I want to fall asleep, I'll put on Raw. I mean, I can't argue that. But the thing is, Raw's on pretty late. So, it's strictly a time thing. It's a bedtime issue is what it is.
Yeah. We'll get into it.
Yeah. Let's see. So we did have the segment there with Bailey and Seth Rollins on the Ding Dong Hello show.
Yep.
There was a lot of laughing back and forth. This was a pretty interesting. This Ding Dong Hello segment was kind of a roller coaster ride for me. At first, I was like, okay, this is fun. Then it got to a point of being kind of annoying, and I was like, maybe this is going on too long. And then it came back to being, then it became like predictable, but then it changed again. Like it was like this whole thing had me like hooked, where at the beginning I was laughing at it. This is funny. Seth and Bailey are both laughing hysterically at nothing at all. They're replaying their little victories. And then the doorbell rings. I love that the doorbell rang and he was there.
Yeah.
They did such a good job with that one there. And he went through the door, which is great. I like that she was like trying to give him the nice seat. Like, I like how much this version of Bailey puts over the heels so much. But Cesaro's there. He comes through. He starts beating the shit out of Seth. Then he throws Seth through the door. They're beating the shit out of Seth. Rips his pants off. Now his balls is out.
Do you think that was on purpose?
To get his balls on TV?
Well, yeah, just to get him out of his pants.
Yeah, why would you not want Seth out of his pants? You're telling me you had the opportunity to get Seth out of his pants, you wouldn't take it? I don't believe you.
Probably not.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
We'll talk after the show.
Yeah. Well, God, dude, not on the air, man.
God, Jesus. God.
Yeah. I told you that in confidence.
But it just didn't, to me, it didn't seem like a spot where you normally see somebody strangling around in their underwear. Like, he didn't over-exaggerate it like most people do.
That's true. He didn't miz it up. He didn't miz his pants.
Yeah, exactly. Miz is actually, like, one of the ones I was thinking of. That, oh, my God.
Yeah.
You know, Michoni's are showing.
Well, that's his
Something's
thing.
like, ah, fuck.
He's just constantly like, and then my pants come off. Like, no, Miz, your pants don't. What are you talking about? Like, I feel like he pitches it every single segment he can until they say, yeah, sure, your pants can come off on this one. Okay, good. Because he definitely plays into it a ton.
I wanted them to pan to Angel Garza just with his thumb up. Yes.
Yeah. Garza just goes like, ah, come on.
That's my spot.
Yeah. Seth stole my gimmick, dude. But let's see. So this is the thing. Tell me what you think about this. So after Cesaro beats the absolute balls out of Seth, it goes back to Bailey in the ring, and she's like picking up her set, and she's like, guys, this is my show. Like, guys, the door. Like, she starts coming off like really sad and sympathetic. Like, the way her voice changed to become like devastated and upset and like helpless. I was like, oh my God. Did you catch all that?
Almost. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's about to start crying, and yeah. And I was thrown off of that too. Like, but guys. Like, yeah, like you just kicked her dog or something.
Yeah, dude, 100%. I was all like, holy shit, she's just become super sympathetic. And then while she's like on the verge of crying because these guys ruined her set, Bianca comes out and starts laughing at Bailey and pointing. I know they're trying to push. Well, go ahead.
I was gonna say, you know what was weird is that I actually looked away from the TV, and then when I heard the laughing, I was like, Jesus Christ, Bailey's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And then I looked back and it was Bianca laughing because they laughed like identical.
Yeah.
Like when I heard it, I thought it was Bailey.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what it was. Is Bianca was both mocking Bailey by, like, I think the laughing in style of Bailey was double mocking her. I'm mocking, not only am I mocking and laughing at her, I'm laughing at her like she laughs at people. And I get it. The part of it's all like trying to rub it in when you got one over on somebody, and Bailey's the bad guy anyways. But like, Christ, man, Bailey did a great job of coming off super sympathetic, and I felt bad for her for a minute there. And I was like, fucking, and then Bianca comes out, and I was like, that bitch, like, bitch. I don't know if they're trying to turn Bianca at all and bring Bailey back over to babyface. Like, I have no idea what they're doing with it. But I'll tell you, that's exactly how I felt by the end of it. And there's a lot of times when Bailey does fucked up stuff and she gets what's coming to her, and you go, well, yeah, she does fucked up stuff. But this is when we're all like, man, they're really kicking her when she's down, huh?
But that's also because you're a Bailey mark.
Yeah.
I don't think they're bringing Bailey to the light side anymore. Or anytime soon.
I didn't think so, but she really came off sympathetic there. Like, surprisingly sympathetic to me.
Yeah, but to me, it seemed like almost like Jerry Springer-ish. Because, you know, she's already going for the Sally Jesse route.
Yeah.
But she almost went like Jerry Springer, like if he got upset that somebody was throwing mashed potatoes on the stripper pole.
Yeah.
Say, guys, that's my stripper pole. Come on.
Yeah.
You know, so
yeah,
I don't think that's what they're doing, but at the same time, who knows?
I mean, that's true. I didn't think so, but I just thought that was overly puppy doggish, like you were saying. You know, it was just a bit much on there. Where I was all like, "Holy shit!" Like, I feel bad for her right now. Let's see. Spinnerfox in the chat though. He does say, if Bailey's not going to win the title, I would hope she goes back to NXT and put over younger talent.
But if you take Bailey away from SmackDown, the women's roster at SmackDown looks fairly weak.
Yeah. I don't know that you do that. I think there's also a difference between training people and getting them over or helping them. I don't think that she needs to go to NXT and lose a shitload of matches to prove that the NXT roster is better than her. I don't know if that helps anybody the way that we think it does. I mean, when you think about it, I mean, John Cena's John Cena, but remember by the time he came around and put over Shinsuke and Roman, a lot of people were like, well, yeah, but he just comes back to lose to guys he likes now. Like, it kind of undermined what a Cena win meant. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I think a lot of times when people do that they're in the twilight years of their career, where I don't think Bailey's anywhere near that.
I think
she
there's
can
that
help
too.
She can help people come up, but I don't think, you know, basically being sent down to be a mentor would be the right move.
Yeah.
Not yet.
I'm not ready for that. I say 5-6 years maybe we'll have that conversation, but as of right now, I think she needs to stay in the main roster and dominate the way that she does and be as important as she is. Because I think that's how you put over new talent.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
The other thing is that she makes the ones coming up to the main roster look like they belong on the main roster. When she was champion, she made everyone shine.
Yeah.
And that's what you want out of a leader of your division.
Yeah.
And, you know, what better person to continue doing that than Bailey? Like, she proved that she can do it. Just continue doing that.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. Yeah, I think that, we can have that conversation down the line, but I think as it goes. And he goes, I don't want her to be the next Natty, just stuck there, though. And I don't think I agree with your assessment of Natty, just to be fair. I think that Nandy's underrated by a lot of fans, but I don't think also that you get Bianca and Sasha in the main event at WrestleMania without Bailey. I think that the fact that Bianca was immediately in a rivalry with Bianca was important to Bianca looking credible. What were you going to say?
I forgot.
And he says, Spin Fox does say, Banks and Bliss going to Hollywood. Flair is Flair. And I think Flair should go to Hollywood, if I'm being honest. And for Becky, I really don't know if she's ever coming back.
Florida.
What?
It says Hollywood, Florida.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we don't know with Becky if she's coming back or not. I feel that she is, but I guess none of us truly know. But
I mean, we can hope.
Yeah, but that's also just one person, and you don't want to undermine the ability of Bayley just because you're like, well, we got to get the next group up. I think you keep Bayley strong, so that way as the next group comes up, they have competitors. Like I said, I don't think you get Bianca looking as credible as fast as she looked without Bayley being the first person she touched. Because, I mean, think about it even though. Is with as good as I think Natty is, with as tremendous as she is in the foundation she is to the women's division there, and as much as she trains the women there, having an opening rivalry with Natty was a bit of the gatekeeper rivalry that everyone had coming in, and it didn't always set them up for the main event scene. Not the way that Bayley did. So
see, that's what I was gonna say. Is I know where Splinter Fox is coming from. We're saying he doesn't want to see see Bayley like Natty, where she's just floundering around, aimlessly for a lot of times. Yeah, she put over people, but at the same time, her career, didn't go anywhere. And a lot of times, her putting over people weren't really helping the other people as much as it should have. And, I don't want to see Bayley floundering around, mid-card on Smackdown or whatever. But, looking where Natty's at now and where she's come from and who's, she's helped out, yes, I can see Bayley doing that. But once again, just like the NXT talk, I think that's in a few years coming.
Yeah. I could see that. I do think that the fact that people undermine people beating Natty is the fault of the fans and not the fault of the booking of it, because I do think that people neglect to realize that Natty holds the majority of records that have ever been held by a woman in the WWE, as far as most matches, most wins, pay-per-view one-on-ones, all that stuff Natty holds. The only thing she doesn't hold is the most championships, and that's because she's busy building the rest of the division. So she's talked about it a couple times in some of her promos as like some shit talk, but it's also coming from kind of a real place there. So but
at the same time, you look at some of the greats in just WWE history, and a lot of them weren't even champions. You look at the Pipers and stuff like that. Yeah, I was gonna say perfect.
DiBiase, Jake the Snake.
Yeah, Andre really didn't hold the world title, did he?
I was gonna say he won it the one time and gave it to $1 Million Man, and that whole storyline was not recorded as historical reign, right?
Win.
They don't. Yeah, they don't list Andre or $1 Million Man as title holder because of that whole thing. So yeah, I mean, you have a lot of the absolute greatest, and they didn't hold the title. So yeah, I don't think the title win means everything. But let's see. I'm just gonna wrap up what Splinter Fox is saying in the chat. We're gonna keep moving. He says, I feel like she's going to stay away and raise her babies. I feel like you can feel however you want. It's up to her. That's what I was saying. We don't know. None of us know. And he goes, I felt that when she was not on WrestleMania, just being a comedy act, I didn't like it. I mean, if you listen to interviews with her, she didn't mind it. I'm not saying she didn't want to be in the WrestleMania main event, but I think it meant an awful lot to her to have played the part she played in getting that main event to be there. And I think that the way that you talk about her putting over the next class, the NXT talent and all of that, I think she takes more to heart than you think. She was, when someone in an interview, all they did was ask her, is like, hey, what did it mean to you to see Sasha and Bianca in the main event at WrestleMania? She just started crying. It's like, what? Like, she was that happy about that. You know what I mean? Like, she was starting to talk about it and saying what it meant to her, and she was like breaking down because it was so important. So I do get that, like, we all want more for our favorites for sure. If it's up to me, Bayley wins the championship every night, never loses it but keeps winning it. But at the end of the day, you also got to realize there's bigger.
Champion.
Yeah, 39-time champion. But at the same time, there's also bigger picture things at play here that we don't like to admit.
But the other thing is, you know, just speaking of Mania, if you look at it, Bayley's storyline, you know, she set up the main event of WrestleMania, so she had really no spot. You know, I truthfully, I think she's, I don't want to say lucky, but, you know, just even having the comedy spots that she did is great because her storyline was nowhere near any kind of WrestleMania matches.
Yeah. Yeah, she wasn't anywhere close. And she said also in one of her interviews that whole thing with her wasn't supposed to happen. She wasn't supposed to be on WrestleMania at all. But there was so much chatter about Bayley online, so much they felt like they had to shoehorn her in there somehow. That's how she got the spots that she got. And she even said, she goes, you know, at the end of the day, she's retained both titles at WrestleMania. She's defended all three of the women's titles at WrestleMania, that she's had WrestleMania moments, that she also gets to check off the list. WrestleMania host and being thrown down the balcony by the Bellas was a cool thing for her. She's a huge wrestling fan at heart. Someone posted a clip the other day of she was on some radio show and they were just asking her to do impressions of all these different random wrestlers, and she was just going off on it. It was great. Like, she was talking about how cool it was to be beat up by the Bellas. So, I don't know. She had that moment with NWO that was hysterical. I know somebody who was at that Mania and said that Bayley got one of the biggest pops of the whole weekend when her pyro went off, because she's all, hit my pyro, and it just goes. Everyone was like, yeah. So I don't think it's the worst thing that ever happened. I do think we get to a point where Bayley is eventually in a WrestleMania main event, and I think we have a lot of years to get there. I don't think that she's ready to wrap it up and go back to NXT, if you ask me, you know. Let's see. And he goes, or have her lose and she takes a break, and when she comes back, she will still be fresh and get a big pop on the return. Yeah, I think that's true too. I don't know who she's. I mean, I guess she's got that match with Bianca coming up. Do you think there's any chance that she gets the title off Bianca here?
I don't know. It's kind of reminds me of almost like a Kofi Mania or something, you know, someone like that, you know, got their reign and you just don't know when it's going to. You know, because truthfully, I think it would be smart if they did.
Yeah. I don't think it would hurt Bianca to lose it here.
I don't think so either.
And then
they face off each other at WrestleMania Backlash?
Yeah, that's where Bianca cheated because she's a cheater. She used her hair.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't think, you know, I don't think, unlike Charlotte, where I don't think a loss to Bayley is going to just bury Bianca for 2 years.
Yeah.
You know, much like Asuka and Charlotte. You know, I think, if anything, you know, yeah, you take the belt off of her and, hey, I want that back, and show the struggle, and, you know, I want to be there. You know, show her fight for what she wants.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. And I was kind of expecting, when I asked you that, I was expecting you to say, oh, of course she retains or something, because I feel like the consensus is that Bayley's definitely losing here. But for me, I'm agreeing with you. I don't know. I don't think a Bianca loss would hurt Bianca here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like another title reign on Bayley doesn't make sense. She's absolutely a credible champion.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe that's when Sasha comes back. And maybe you have Sasha, Bianca, and Bayley in a storyline for a bit. Maybe somebody else comes back up. Like, I don't know. Like, I think there's a lot of stuff you can do with it. But as much as I do like Bianca as a champion, and I do think that her promos are getting better and better, not that she was bad to begin with, but they're getting better.
Yeah.
I also don't know how I see her as a champion. When Bayley was a champion, it was always like, oh, after this rivalry, she's got to have a rivalry with this person or that person. She ended up going through the whole fucking roster.
Yeah.
And it made sense. With Bianca,
Well,
I don't see
after-
that. I don't see Bianca going through the whole roster.
Yeah. Well, and that's exactly what I was going to say. Is after Bailey, you know, who would be up next for Bianca?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Unless Sasha comes back, and then you have Sasha and Bianca again leading into maybe SummerSlam.
But see, I still wouldn't. I wouldn't be interested. Because because I was going to bring it up, you know, I know we already talked about Roman a bit. We didn't talk about the last segment. But in the past 2 weeks, watching Rey Mysterio versus Roman in a Hell in a Cell match has got me more intrigued than the 4 or 3 months that they had for Bianca and Sasha.
Yeah.
And it feels like that should be
Sasha-
the exact opposite.
Yeah. Now, the crazy bit is Sasha and Bianca had a terrible lead into WrestleMania, but they delivered so well at Mania itself that it almost kind of like, you just kind of forget about that. The fact that it didn't make any sense going into it. But I do
it
think
was
that...
so bad that it's still just glaring to me.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, let's see. In the chatter here, he says, have this Bailey anti-hero be a complete badass, which I'm always for. He goes, I'm down. And then he said, nah, Belair will win, and if they are smart, Rhea will be entering the live crowd again too with the titles and have Survivor Series 3-way with Belair, Rhea, and Gonzalez. Battle of the Brands. They didn't use NXT this last time, right?
But
Or
that
did
should
they?
that should be Survivor Series, not SummerSlam.
That's what he said, Survivor Series.
Or I thought you said SummerSlam.
Oh, if I did, it was my mistake. He put Survivor Series. But did they... I thought they didn't use NXT this last time, right? It was a one-time thing to put over NXT.
Yeah, which was so stupid and weird because
Yeah, it
NXT
was awful.
had a fucking clean sweep, and then we didn't see them the next
Yeah, and then next year they weren't there. It's like, okay, so they're so dominant and they don't need to come back. Like, it was a weird thing. So, I don't know. I don't need it. Belair, Rhea, and Gonzalez, I'd like to see them down the line. I don't need a triple threat between them at Survivor Series. I don't need the rest of NXT there. I mean,
I was
if
gonna
they
say,
do
wasn't
it,
that
okay,
in NXT
but...
not that long ago?
Well, they all showed up and held up their titles. I thought that was their moment to be like, oh, remember when we all started together? Now we're all champions. And you go, okay. I mean, it was cool, but...
And at the same time, you know, how many times have we thought that we were going to do a 4 horsewomen thing? We never did.
Yeah, that's true. We kept thinking it was going to happen. And Center Fox says, or Bailey wins, and Bailey comes out on next SmackDown and says she has beat the whole roster. There's nobody else. Nobody else left. Then boom, out comes Becky, and that is the SummerSlam match. Big stars is what they want from SummerSlam. I'm down. Yeah, it wouldn't bother me at all, and it would make sense. They got a lot of history together. Bailey turned on Becky, and that's when she went heel, smacking her with a chair. I don't think Becky ever really got her payback on that one. I feel like they did but didn't. They kind of like avoided each other. But they've clearly got a ton of history just in general. So, yeah, I think you could definitely go that route. I think it'd be easy to go that route too. I mean, we'll see. I wouldn't be against it for one bit. Let's see. And he goes, maybe... Oh, he said they didn't do the NXT this year, but maybe they will this year because it's going to be live, which is possible. And it might not be a bad idea either, just because NXT, since moving to Tuesday, has not done great, as far as we can tell. I mean, in the little I look at...
Get all 3 brands back out there in the
Yeah.
public eye.
Yeah, wouldn't be the worst thing to be like, hey, here's all 3 of our brands again, just in case you forgot. NXT's still looming about. It's just on Tuesdays now.
Mm-hmm.
That could give a nice little adrenaline shot to it. More so than giving Charlotte the NXT title again.
Ugh.
Yeah. And then he does say, I can't boo Gonzalez after that heel or not after the title celebrations. I didn't think she was a heel, but if you're telling me she is, then that's backwards as fuck. Because, yeah, I thought that was the whole point of that, was to be like, look, we're all good guys. So, I'm misunderstanding it a lot. Because there's no way I thought we were supposed to be booing Raquel. She doesn't do anything boo-worthy. She's just a dominant person who wins clean all the time. That's the definition of a babyface, I thought. I don't know. It's all fucked up. Was there anything we missed on the Ding Dong Hello segment there that you want to talk about, Kev?
No, I don't think so.
I think it was good, especially when we talk about all the people who could go to Hollywood. Bailey's not on that list of people that people mention, but look at the range she did in this one segment. Just phenomenal. And it was cool to see Cesaro back.
Yep.
Always like him. Let's see. We did have Chad Gable in a match with Montez Ford. Gable loses via disqualification because Otis shows up beardless and sits and farts on Ford, as far as I could tell. Yo,
Yep.
does Otis with a shaved beard look like his face is not big enough for his head? Is that just me? Looks like one of those photoshops.
Well, yeah, I've always thought that. Like, because his neck is fucking huge.
Yeah. He's not a tall guy either. I met him once. He spooked the shit out of me, but he was not tall.
Yeah, I mean, I did see Mandy tweet about it.
Yeah, she had a fucking sad look on her face about it. I did like this match with Montez Ford and Gable. It was one of the better Montez Ford matches we've seen. Gable's always phenomenal. I think having Otis come back and being pissed was cool, but him being shaved was a little weird. It just was what it was, I suppose. I don't know, man.
Well, to me, it was very Raw-like with Jason Riker.
Yes.
Like, oh, he's unhinged. He's pissed off. Look, he shaved. You guys did that last week on Raw.
He's so crazy, he shaved.
Like,
Look
like,
at him.
I thought it was cool when Riker did it because it was like fresh new look, you know, it's a new person, cool. Otis did it and it was like, okay.
I
crazy
100%
guys
thought of
that
Clump
shit.
when I saw this. When I met Clump had a huge beard. And then he tried to clean it up and had the wrong tip on the end of it and put a line straight down it. And went, well, shit. And he had to shave it. This is 100% what I thought happened here. And I was like, what, do you have the wrong clipper on it? Like, because the other thing, he wasn't clean shaven. He was stubbly. He was stubbly, like he had a number one tip on one of those things or one of those little quarter inches. It was like, it was shaved, but it was down to the skin, but like only down to like as much as the clippers would go. Like he didn't take a razor to it.
Yeah, it wasn't clean either.
No.
Like Riker was clean, lined up, looked good.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. 100%.
Otis unhinged.
Yeah. He's crazy. Plus, look at him. He's shaved.
You know who Otis reminded me of?
Huh.
Have you seen the new, well, it's not new anymore, but the newer versions, the live versions of Alice in Wonderland? And the Tweedledee and Tweedledum?
Yeah, 100%.
That's what Otis reminds me of.
Yeah. I thought he looked like Newman from Seinfeld.
Well, we don't talk about that show.
Yeah. It's one of those shows we just don't talk about.
You mean the guy that got eaten by the Dilophosaurus in Jurassic Park?
Yeah, that's the guy. He's like, hello, Otis. Yeah, I don't know what they're doing here, but you know what it is. It is what it is. I'll tell you, I always like watching the Street Profits lose, so this is when I could have gone the other way. Let's see. We did have Shinsuke Nakamura versus Baron Corbin. Let's see. Rick Boogs got involved after the match. Nakamura defeated Corbin, and then Corbin gets his crown back. Nakamura sneaks it away. They take off running. Corbin goes to Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville and says, "This is some bullshit. You got to get me my goddamn crown back." I'm actually super interested in what's going on here. I love this, and their match was great.
Yeah.
They always have good matches together too, man.
Yeah. I mean, they work well with each other. They're two great talents. I'm in the same boat. I'm curious to see where it goes from here. I never thought I'd be this invested into Baron Corbin's crown.
Yeah. As much as we were ready for him to move on from that, we're like, okay, he needs to go ahead and drop the crown. Now that he doesn't have the crown every week, and I was like, well, I mean, it's his crown. Like, like, is there, like, can he have his fucking crown back?
That is his property.
Yeah, it's his property. And he's the bad guy here. And Nakamura stole his property and keeps it away from him, and Nakamura's the good guy.
Yeah. So confused.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm curious to see if they're going to do a battle for the crown this week.
Yep, on Friday.
Yeah, I guess we'll see how that goes. Boogs was out there. I like Boogs and Shinsuke together. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I thought they were going to announce a match for Hell in the Cell. Not necessarily in the cell, but, just a match. And I was like, cool. Like I said, I want a crown on a stick match or whatever.
Yeah, crown on a
ladder. Yeah.
Ladder
or like
match.
A ladder match for the crown.
I could see that. Let's see. Splinter Fox does say, he goes, so Ember Moon was the heel, LOL. Yeah, to me, I was booing Ember Moon the whole time. I don't know who we were cheering for. And then he goes, maybe he messed up the trimming of the beard. Yeah, see, that's what I mean. That's what it looked like. Look, somebody who messed it up. Bishop coming through. Cheers to Bishop.
Cheers.
Guys, and it's that time of the show we ought to shout out Terrible Wrestling Takes Podcast. If you go to Terrible Wrestling Takes Podcast /TWTs, you can get your Terrible Wrestling tees there for an additional 25% off if you use the Wrestling on the Rocks exclusive promo code UNSUCKITCLUMP. That's right, Clump sucks in reverse. UNSUCKITCLUMP, one word, with a K. Oh, wait. This just in, new code. New code coming through. All right, well, he says new code, and then he fucking, stalls on it. Like, I'm trying to put him over in a good clip that we could use. And the guy, goddamn, just keeps saying new code, new code. If Unsucking Club isn't the new code... Oh, here it goes. Here's the code. New code. This just in. This just in, y'all. That's how they talk on news in the day. New code, dive bar. Go to Terrible Wrestling Takes Podcast /TWTs to get your Terrible Wrestling t-shirts with an additional 25% off. Wrestling on the Rocks exclusive promo code Dive Bar. Because that's right, we are the dive bar of the IWC. This is where you come to get dingy, get gross, have wings, and get drunk, and yell about wrestling in your most pointless aggression takes that you can possibly have. But okay, so then he does say Splinter Fox does go back as we get back on track here. Maybe they set up for the new King of the Ring. That's what I thought it was gonna be. I thought they were gonna be like, hey, if you want your crown back, let's have a new tournament. Crown's on the line,
Yeah.
He goes, I hope it's more than just 4 matches. Make it a SmackDown Raw NXT entry for the King of the Ring. Yeah, I think they should bring the King of the Ring in general. My hunch is they're getting to a point where at the end of this, we're going to be leading into a different Corbin on the other side. He's not going to be the King Corbin. And I think we end up with a King Shinsuke at the end of it. I think it's possible that we end up with King Pin Corbin, where he's in suits and has cigars and talks about his watches, much more ominous than royalty. Kev, what do you think about all that?
Yeah, I at first I thought it was going to lead to a King of the Ring, but it just seems like a 2-man race for the crown, basically.
Yeah. I know. When they had to battle for the crown, I was like, oh, God damn it. I really thought we were going to do a new King of the Ring.
But how great would it be if Xavier just runs in and runs away?
Hey, did you? Yeah, I mean, that'd be good. Actually, now you mention it, if Woods just comes in and just snatches it, it's man. Hey, Kev, what do you think of Pat McAfee when Rick Boogs comes out?
I love it.
Okay.
I just love his excitement. He's 100% invested. gets up, starts dancing. What's there not to like?
Yeah. Did you think that there was anything different about Pat McAfee's commentary this week?
Not that I could tell.
Okay. I'm just wondering if it was just me or not, but he felt really forced to me this week. Like he was trying to be. He didn't come off as natural as he normally does. Like, to me, Pat McAfee came off a lot more like you would expect him to be on a first show, where you'd expect jitters and I got to be funny, I got to do this, so I got to be me and all that, you know? But I feel like we haven't gotten that from him at all. He's been so natural on all of it. And then I felt like this week, he felt really forced. I felt like a lot of the stuff he was doing felt like kind of phoned in and more over the top than he actually is, like a different type of over the top, like, oh, I better do this because that's what I do, and it's not like just him doing him. Does that make sense? Did you get that impression at all from him?
I mean, I can kind of see where you're coming from, where it's like you said, force and hey, I've had this reaction in the past, so I have to do it again, type of thing. But I don't know. I didn't pay that close attention to the way he was acting when Boobs went out.
Well, I wonder because of this. I don't want to harp on it long because, I don't like it when mommy and daddy fight. But Bill Apter had sent out a tweet saying that when Boogs came out, this was last week, not this week that we're talking about, the week prior to that, when Boogs came out, Pat McAfee's commentary was so much that he said he couldn't reach for his remote fast enough to turn the volume off. And Pat McAfee responded with, Bill, with all due respect, go fuck yourself. And then Bill Apter was all like, I could have done without the F-bomb. And it was a weird back and forth where it's like, okay, does Bill Apter, who didn't have any other tweets really about Smackdown, so it's not like he was putting over a ton of stuff and saying how good Pat McAfee's being, and then puts out the ones like, well, this is when he gets a little too over the top for me. And Bill Apter is Bill Apter, man. He's a legend. And an important part of the business. So I can understand where Pat McAfee would look at that and notice it and say, hey, I do what I do. Go fuck yourself if you don't like it. Which, I mean, I guess I get. Pride, ego, all that. And it's not that McAfee's bad. So it's not like McAfee's like has to take everything he says to heart so much as like, I don't know. And it was just weird that Bill Apter's response was all like, well, you didn't have to curse about it. I was like, well, you also didn't have to tweet about it. So it was like it was a real weird spot to be watching two people who I have so much respect for shit at each other kind of for no reason on both sides. We're all like, did McAfee have to say, fuck yourself? No, probably not. But did Bill Apter have to say, I couldn't turn my TV off fast enough? No, probably not. Did they both just fart at each other and I'm standing here watching it? Kinda. That's what it felt like. I don't like this. You know what I mean? But I wonder if that got in his head a little bit because this week he came off so forced that it was a little bit weird to me. I forget what it was, but he like quoted some song or something. Like he quoted something that was like forced and weird and interrupted Michael Cole to do it, and it felt, with all due respect, it felt like the shittiest moments of Mauro Ranalli that I've since talked about how I didn't like when he would force in certain quotes, like he pre-wrote it down. It felt like that. Yeah. And I was all like, I don't like that. What's going on? So I wonder, but also at the same time, Pat McAfee doesn't seem like the type to let anybody get in his head. He seems like he's beyond that. Like he was in the fucking Super Bowl. I heard he lost that Super Bowl, so maybe that says all it's got to say. But I don't know, man. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, like I said, I didn't notice it. If I think McAfee's response was, obviously just McAfee.
It's on brand.
Yeah.
For the brand.
I wouldn't expect anything else. The cordial, hey, with all due respect, But
McAfee does come off the type of person who would tell you to go fuck yourself and also buy you a beer in the same night.
100%. And like I said, that's why I don't think it's, that off for him to tell somebody to go fuck themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, if this was the case and stuff like that, where I don't know, maybe they did. Maybe it was like a fuck you back on commentary.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
still
what I
gonna
wondered.
do this, so I am gonna force myself. You can reach for that remote if you want, but I'm still gonna do it.
Yeah, almost all like, oh, you thought that was bad. Why do you get a load of this? You know what I mean? It's like, oh, okay. Which, and I thought I thought about that too. I'm glad you said that, because part of me was all like, is it in his head where it's messing up his game? Or is it in his head to where he's like turning it up just to piss off Bill Apter? You know what I mean? Like, which is also a weird way to do your job in general, right? I want to see if I can do it and piss off one single person.
Exactly.
But maybe that's on brand for him. But either way, like I said, I respect both those guys so much. They're both incredible to me and have every reason to be in every wrestling Hall of Fame, if you ask me. But it is what it is. I just thought I'd ask you if you noticed it. Let me hit the chat real fast. Fox does say maybe he ends up losing his crown and his job. I don't see them doing anything else after this. I think it's a shitty stance to take about any wrestler, really. Hey, maybe Moxley loses his job after this whole pregnancy thing, because what are they going to do with him after he's gone for 4 months because we had a baby? Like, fuck yourself, dude. Like, what are you talking about? See, but also buy Splinter Fox a beer. But there's a lot of things you can do with a lot of people, and I think Baron Corbin's immensely talented, and the idea to be like, well, maybe this is it. He just fire him. Fuck him. Like, I don't like that as an argument. But let's see. Splinter Fox does say, I hate the Colts, so I don't like him. That's fair. Actually, that's completely fair. I actually like that. That's my favorite argument on not to like Pat McAfee. What do you think about him in the ring? I don't like the Colts. I love it. I like that sports love is that deep. I mean, we talked about it a few times. How many times do we say fuck Tucker?
All the fucking time.
Wildcats, baby.
Yeah, bear down, bitches.
Bear down, bitches. Faptina says he was off. It was weird. And said Bill Apter's like 100. Yeah, the dude's 1,000 years old, and he's still watching wrestling every week, which is pretty dope. Like, that's all I need to know. Bill Apter still watches? Amazing. There's this one guy out there, John Arezzi, and I know a lot of people put him over. They say great things about him. But the one thing I took note of when I listened to an interview of him not that long ago is he's back in a podcast game talking about stuff he did when he did a wrestling journalist radio show back in the 90s. And he goes, I've been doing this for like 40 years. But he hadn't been doing it in the last like 25. And I was like, no, you don't get to count time away. Like, he stopped doing it like mid-90s, came back now and was all like, oh, yeah, I'm 40 years in at this point. No. You don't even watch anymore. All he does is review his own stuff from before. Just weird.
That's some Drew McIntyre math right there.
That is Drew McIntyre math. And on top of that, it's like, there's nothing wrong with saying that you were a journalist back from this date to that date and reflecting on that with pride, writing the book that he wrote. I'm not saying don't write it, don't support him. I think the stuff he did was fantastic. His stories are great. But a little weird to say you've been doing it for this long if you don't even watch the current product in general now. So, Bill Apter's like 1,000 and still watches every week. To me, I'm all like, that's a fucking cool-ass old man.
Oh, yeah, but you know what's funny is the Twitter back and forth with them. When he's like, couldn't grab my remote, fuck you. You didn't have to cuss at me. Like, it reminds me of like a scene from a movie where you see an old man and a child just yelling at each other.
Like fucking, what was it? Was it Hangover? Where he's like, I will hit an old man in public.
I think so.
Or was it Due Date? Is that what it was? I think it was Due Date with Zach Galifianakis.
Yeah.
Keep walking, old man. And the old man turns around and goes, what? I will hit an old man in public. And the dude like gives him the finger. 100%, man.
Yeah, that's what it reminded me. How dare you cuss in front of me?
Yeah. Yeah, like an old man gives a kid a finger, and he goes, fuck you too, and he goes, how? What? Harsh. Yeah, No, I
The
get that.
audacity of today's youth.
The lack of respect. Splinterfox does say, again, this is why social media is dumb. Agreed.
Yep.
Agreed on that for sure.
Why I stay off of it for the most part.
And Splinterfox says, just thinking like WWE would, sorry, not sorry, about Corbin losing his job. I mean, in that argument too, we could be like, what if they just get the wrong name on the paper? Like, I have no idea why they fire people. Like, I don't know. But I will say I like Corbin. I don't want him to lose his job. But at the same time, I guess if they said Baron Corbin's been released, I'd be like, huh. Just like all the other ones. So what do I know, man? I'm just a drunk on Twitch talking about wrestling because that's what we love. Hanging out, talking wrestling. And Cinebox does say Steiner math. That's true. Let's see. Fabtine says, I thought that maybe he was spoken to in the back about how he publicly said that to Bill. Like, that they said, hey, you might want not to tell Bill Apter to go fuck himself online. Go out there and knock him dead, kid. I could see that, but I guess that's just heavy speculation. I mean, that could be why it was in his head, though, if it was like, if he was just talked about it. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Well, let's talk about the last segment and wrap up SmackDown so we can get to Raw, dude. Are you good with that?
Yeah.
I do appreciate everyone coming through and derailing the show this way. I like when the conversation gets into the weeds a little bit. I know that like it's like, hey, we want to review the show, but at the end of the day, we don't care if we review the show. We just want to have fun talking about wrestling, and we want to get in there and have a good time. So I appreciate everyone coming through. If anybody else listening on podcast wants to get into the chat and see how they can derail the show, because 100% it happens all the time. Splinter Fox naturally will wait for us to do the last call and then ask us all a depthful question. So go to twitch.tv/WrestlingOnTheRocks. Give us a follow. Hit us with that subscribe. Go to WrestlingOnTheRocks.com to find all of our links. It gives you the how-to on how you can link up your Twitch with your Amazon so you can have a Twitch Prime account, which allows you to subscribe to us for free to you, because you may not know this about your Amazon account, but you're being charged for a Twitch subscription every month. That is part of your subscription. Part of it goes into a little fund for Twitch, and whether you click it or not, it goes there every month, and you pay towards it every month. All you got to do is go into our account and hit that Twitch subscribe for us, and it reroutes that money that you've already gotten. You've already lost. It's not yours anymore, and it either goes into the void or it goes into our tip jar. Fucking boom, pops it over there, buys us a drink, keeps the show going. We love it, guys. Let's see. Splinterfox does say, wow, that would be a WWE thing. Get in their head before the show starts. That's true, too. That'd be funny. Pat McAfee's like seconds before getting on their air, and they're all like, hey, Pat, you hear me? Yeah, we're about to go live. Yeah. But before that, maybe don't tell Bill Apter to go fuck himself. What? He told me to like it. I don't give a shit. Don't fucking talk to Bill Apter that way. 3, 2, 1, go. He's all like, ah. I mean, the shit we hear, especially on Bruce's podcast, where it's like they try to say they're not doing shit to just pop the boys in the back, but there's times where you just feel like they're in someone's ear there just to watch them squirm. So I wouldn't doubt that either. I love that take. Let's wrap it up here, dude. So at the end of the night, Jimmy and Jay are storming away, trying to figure out what they're going to do with themselves. How's this going to go? Jay runs off. Jimmy's going after him. Roman ends up going out by himself. This is after the whole fucking like, why did you treat your brother this way? You just to your brother. Fucking crazy, dude. Next level stuff. In the arena, Rey Mysterio comes out. Mysterio calls Roman Reigns a rat. Yeah, just like that. Calls him a rat bastard. Says he wants to go to Hell in a Cell with him. Says he wants to put his thumb up in it. All those things, as Rey Mysterio always does. Catchphrase, I'm put my thumb in you.
No.
It's one of his things. Rey Mysterio says that.
Never.
He's like, that was mi familia. Put my thumb in you.
Yeah, you take the thumb out, and the 619 just becomes 69.
Yeah, once the thumb is out, the thumb is the one in the 619 for sure. Sorry. Off track. But he says he will acknowledge Roman Reigns as a rat bastard, and he will acknowledge Roman Reigns as the man he wants to beat up in Hell in a Cell, and go fuck yourself. And Reigns attacks Ray. But Ray gets a kendo stick from out of nowhere, literally by his feet, all of a sudden, picks it up, starts whacking off Roman Reigns. What do you mean? What?
Some
What?
Jedi magic.
Yeah, it was a Jedi mind trick to get the stick, and then uses his stick to whack off Roman Reigns. Am I mistaken? That's what happened, right?
You're mistaken.
I watched Ray whack off Roman Reigns with his stick.
He whacked him on the side. He whacked him on the face. He whacked him everywhere.
All about the side and face. Roman jucking and jiving, trying to avoid it, but he can't avoid the stick. It's all stick. Then Dominic comes in from out of nowhere, whips out his stick, starts whacking off Roman Reigns too. Oh, what I got? They're both just whacking off Roman. Eventually, the Usos are going to come in and do something about this, but Roman Reigns versus Rey Mysterio Jr. after the Hell in a Cell whack-off. What do you think about all this, Kev?
I mean, I had no problem except for how Ray got his kendo stick.
I love that Pat McAfee said, "Where did that come from?"
As he's right there.
Yeah.
That was the only part that got me. Everything else was great. I liked it. Like I said, I'm more invested in this match than I was Bianca and Sasha going into Mania. So, yeah.
Here's the thing, too. Objectively speaking, is Rey Mysterio top 10 talent of all time?
I'd say top 15, maybe 20.
If someone told you Rey Mysterio Jr. was in their top 5, would you look at them bug-eyed, or would you say, I could see why someone would say that?
Not at all. Because it's just like, I wouldn't look at him bug-eyed.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, you know, the way kids look at Kofi. You know, hey, it's somebody that looks like, you know.
Yeah.
Down here in Arizona, there's a big Rey Mysterio following, you know.
Yeah.
Because he looks like that. So, you know, if somebody says, hey, Rey Mysterio is my favorite of all time, I have no objection with that at all.
Yeah. And I don't think I could put up a good argument on why he shouldn't be someone's favorite of all time.
Yeah.
His catalog speaks for itself. So to me, just on paper alone, the idea of Roman Reigns being on the level he's on, where he literally made the storyline between him and Jay, before we saw Jay as the, quote, main event Uso, before we even saw him as anything other than the other guy in the tag team, objectively, he went into Clash of the Champions in Hell in a Cell with Jey Uso, and you felt like it was the most important match ever.
Mm-hmm.
The idea of that Roman Reigns against Rey Mysterio Jr., not Junior, I apologize. He hasn't been Junior in a long time. But against Rey Mysterio, I was thinking of Junior because I was also just thinking about my mind how my brother, growing up, his two absolute favorites, without question, he wouldn't even stutter, HBK and Rey Mysterio. And it was Junior at the time. And he has a Rey Mysterio Jr. autograph with the Junior. But if I think about the idea of that Roman and Rey Mysterio in any story together and in a match together, fuck, man. I don't know how we don't end up with something incredible.
Yeah, I mean, it should be great. It should be, you know, just like any other Hell in a Cell. I'm curious to see if there is any outside interference.
Yeah, 100%. I think Dom gets involved. I do. I think Jimmy gets involved too. I don't know how, but I think we're going to see some stuff. I think it's going to get messy in there. Let me hit up the chat. Is there anything else you want to say about that segment specifically?
No.
Yeah, it was just great. It's amazing. Everything Reigns is doing is so good that it's like not fair. This is going to be a shitty thing, but this is what I'm thinking, so I'm going to say it. Remember when Kevin Owens was Universal Champion, and we were so frustrated thinking that Kevin Owens, because his character was so good that he would cheat to win every single match, he never won.
Mm-hmm.
And we said that it seemed to undermine the title, like the title's becoming this shitty thing because the champion doesn't even feel like a champion because he feels like he has to weasel himself a fucking shitty victory every time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in retrospect, because we even acknowledged it at the time that Kevin Owens was a heel, so it made sense that he was like a chicken shit heel. But at the same time, it did more for Kevin Owens' character development, I think, than it did for the title. But this feels like it makes the title such an elevated thing, the way that Roman is with his Universal title.
Yeah.
Like, remember when I had the chance to get the commemorative version of the Universal title when it was in red and it was like $70, and I was like, I just don't like that title. Not only do I not like the way that it looks in red, I don't like any of the title reigns we've had with it. Remember? I look all the time now at the blue replica title of the Universal title and go, God, what a goddamn incredible. You know what I mean? Like,
the blue just changed the game with.
Oh, for one, the blue changed the game. But for two, Roman changed that title. I mean, not to mention Goldberg's held it. Once Goldberg holds that title up, you're just all like, oh, holy shit, this is important. You know what I mean? You got Goldberg, you got Braun Strowman, and you're all like, holy shit, what could make this any better? You know what I mean? Nothing.
Yeah. I mean, Bray turned it blue.
Bray turned it blue. He blued it. Mm-hmm. If it wasn't for Bray bluing the title, where would we be? All right, well, let's wrap it up in the chat and go on to Raw. Let's see. Spinfox does say, is this Ray's last dance? Is Roman the new legend killer? First Bryan, now Ray. That's a good question. Do you think that... I think no. I think Ray has another year or two at least with his kid. But this may be Ray's last Universal title shot.
Yeah. Because even if Ray loses on Sunday, he's still a tag team champion. He's not just gone.
He's still a tag team champion, and he's still Ray fucking Mysterio. Like, you can't take that away from him.
Yeah.
But I do think that I think he's going to hold on for longer. I think he really was ready to retire right when his son started. And I really do think that his son was all like, yo, what the fuck, dude? We just got started here. And Ray's like, what do you mean started, dude? I'm like 40 years in, man. And Dom's like, but I just started like a week ago. You could have started 10 years ago. You just decided. Fucking, I'm tired. That's how I feel like it went. And then Dominic probably said to Ray, yeah, but what would my father, Eddie Guerrero, say? And Ray's like, God damn it, I won the custody battle. You saw me go up the ladder. Pendejo. But let's see. He goes, so I don't think this is Ray's last dance. I think it's going to be his last probably world title defense. I think from here on out, it's going to be him and his boy. But he goes, wow, Fox not holding back anymore. I think he's talking about the whack-offs, which is true. And he goes, I would say no, Eddie was better, but that is my view. But even then, you're talking like onesie-twosies. Who do you like more, Eddie or Ray? And if you got them in the same conversation, then you're only talking about personal preference. That's what I'm saying is the argument could be made that Ray is someone's favorite of all time and in top 10 greatest wrestlers of all time, and it's hard to argue against. You know? That's all I'm saying. Kev, anything you want to say about any of that?
No. I think we pretty much covered it all.
Yeah, we've had a good time so far. Let's talk about Raw. I will say, so we were talking about it before. Do you think Raw has been better the past few weeks than the weeks prior?
Yeah.
I do too.
I think the product that they put out is, I don't want to necessarily say by far superior than it was in previous weeks, but definitely is better.
I think it's been better. I think part of it if I'm being a dick about it, is they've really pulled back on the amount of Drew McIntyre throughout the show and have bunched a lot of Drew McIntyre into their smaller segments. I did think the first 2 hours of this went really well. And I thought the last hour was kind of ass. But it wasn't all ass. Some of the ass is good. Some of it's whole. So I will say that the last hour had some cheek as well. So we'll talk about that. Kev, you with me?
Yes, sir.
Do you agree that last hour had some cheek as well as whole?
Yeah. I think you had a little of both cheeks.
What'd I say? Producer shows up and all of a sudden I'm the jerk all of a sudden.
Yeah.
It's bullshit. It is goddamn bullshit. Let's see. All right. So it opened up with Alexa Bliss in the playground where she put Lily in timeout for her actions last week against Shayna. Nia Jax interrupted to say Baszler would see Bliss at Hell in a Cell. And then before she challenged Bliss to a singles match later that night, Alexa and Nia going to battle it out. Dude, how cool was it, though, to see the show open up with Alexa's playground as opposed to fucking a sword?
Yeah, I mean, 100%. That was, the most refreshing part, I think, of Raw this week was that it didn't open up with Drew.
Yeah.
We've had Drew and Bobby opening up the show for, probably a few months.
Yeah.
And, people have been saying, for the past year or however long the Fiend has been around, that's the most interesting part of Raw. So, since he's not around, next best thing is Alexa. So let's go there. And once again, just going back to what I said about Sasha and Bianca at Mania, we've had 1 week, maybe 2 or 3 if you stretch it because original. But I'm more interested in Shayna and Alexa at Hell in a Cell than I was the main event of WrestleMania.
Yeah, just leading into it, for sure.
Yeah.
Yo, you weren't here last week, right?
Yeah, it was.
Oh. Did you talk about the mirror thing with Shayna?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. You guys did
That was you?
Yeah. You went, she's looking that way, and then she looks that way. Yes.
Yeah, that was with Kev, though?
Because I said I wanted Alexa to be in the mirror the last time.
Yeah.
That's true.
7 years bad luck.
You did say that. You said it was bad luck.
I made a clip. I even posted it.
Yeah, we clipped it on social media.
I definitely posted that.
Good job on
social
that.
media. You know, even look at our
Good
socials.
job on that. That was good. They good it made it. All right, well, good. I'm glad we're all caught up. But yeah, 100%. I'm more interested in Shayna and Alexa than I was in Bianca and Banks leading into Mania. That's not to say that the match did not deliver, because it absolutely delivered in every conceivable way. But the build was weird. So yeah, this is awesome. Made me excited. Also, Alexa, I think, is using a lot more white face paint behind her makeup, giving her a creepy look. She also was not wearing her contacts in the match, which we'll talk about. I didn't go back to double check. I don't know if during the playground segment if she had them in or not, but during the match she definitely did not have in the contacts that white out her irises. So I thought that was just notable. I wonder if they're difficult to wrestle in.
Yeah, well, I don't think that she had them in the playground.
I don't think so either, which made me wonder. But let's see. Let me hit the chat real quick just to get through. Splinter Fox does say top 10 as of right now, male talent, no particular order. Brett, Owen, Eddie, Jericho, HBK, Taker, Austin, Rock, Macho Man, and Triple H. But that could change daily, though. And I encourage it to change a little bit here and there. I'm telling you right now, I tweak that. But I am saying it's always good when your list is hard to argue. But let's see. He also says, Shayna better not become a vampire. I guess, though, at least she is getting airtime. It sucks, but maybe she will come out of this with a title shot. Damn 5-foot Disney woman child. Yeah, that possessed child is evil. But I'll also say, I think for one, we're seeing a side of Shayna that we haven't seen. I think that how easy we forget how much people said Shayna was boring for so long, how much people hated the Elimination Chamber, us notwithstanding. They already tried Shayna as a killer and can dominate everyone, and people hated it and shit all over it constantly. So they had to do something. So they've tried all these things to give Shayna more depth, and unfortunately it all involved Reginald and Nia and Pretty Woman shopping sprees. But now we're in a space where she can seem more vicious, but in a spookier type realm that, yeah, I have no problem with Shayna getting more TV time, getting more one-on-one time, seeing what happens with it. And you know what? If she comes out fucking half vampire, I don't give a shit either, because she bit Becky's neck out. She could start doing that with a bunch more people. Doesn't bother me. I'd love to know what you think about Abaddon. Yeah, she's not a zombie, and she's not Abaddon. What do you think, Kev?
I mean, I think the reason why I didn't like Shayna as the killer was because I think they went overboard with it.
Yeah.
If they toned it down just a little bit, going into an elimination chamber and literally eliminating everybody, it was like, yo, come on now.
Yeah.
You can't tell me one or two pins didn't happen from somebody else. You know, it goes back to the Survivor Series we were talking about with NXT.
Yeah. Yeah, she choked up Bailey, that bitch. Yeah.
Oh, you know, when you have too much of it, it's not good.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's a middle ground.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see what happens after the Cell in the Cell. You know, I think because they mentioned something about the playground or the Thunderdome, and I'm just wondering. It's like, hey, we got to have this big Alexa match because we're out of the Thunderdome soon.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think? No. There's no way, right? Like, because there's not enough story, but I was wondering if they would do sort of an Alexa Playground like they did the Firefly Funhouse match, just because it's their last Thunderdome pay-per-view, that they could get away with it. But there's not enough story with Alexa and Shayna. Like, you could do that with Shayna and probably Bailey. Shayna and Becky, or Alexa and Bailey. But
you can do that with Alexa and Nia.
Alexa and Nia, for sure. That'd be fire, dude. You could do it with Alexa and Mickey James.
I don't like this now.
What?
You don't like any of it ever.
Yeah.
With good reason.
There's no good reason.
Yeah.
You never listen to this back, do you?
I don't like this. Same old, huh? Yeah, no, I think that's true. I think you could do Alexa Firefly Funhouse style with a few other people, but Shayna just doesn't make sense. They don't have enough there. So maybe not, but maybe they do something sort of at least cinematic because it's the Thunderdome and you got to go out with a bang in the Thunderdome. I do think, too, a lot of the stuff, do what you can.
Match, right?
It was going to be at Hell in a Cell. I don't believe it's going to be in Hell in a Cell.
No, I thought it said in Hell in a Cell.
No. I hope it's an Inferno match. Like Randy and Fiend. You know what I mean? Set some motherfucker on fire. That'd be dope. Let's see. Spinner Fox says, I love Shayna. She deserved better. Take her back to NXT. And goes, I would love to see this Bailey now versus the NXT Shayna. That would be awesome. I think they could have told an amazing story there, yeah. Martial arts style Shayna. Let's see. Nia has to save Shayna from the playground and sees Dunn. Who's Dunn? Am I missing something? The only Dunn I can think of. Kevin Dunn? Is that what you're talking about? And leaves him there to rot. He ain't shit anyways. Yeah, it's got to be Kevin Dunn. Splinter Fox always talking about Kevin Dunn. Him and Kuro always talking about Kevin Dunn. Pete Dunn. No, he said Pete Dunn.
No, I said Pete.
Oh. You said Pete. Yeah, Pete Dunn. So then Shayna from the ground sees Pete Dunn and leaves him there to rot. That's funny. Prove me wrong.
I'd like that just because I like be done.
Yeah. She'd be like, he's here. He's been called up. All right. Moving along. We got Nikki Cross defeating Charlotte Flair via countout. Yo, all this stuff with Rhea and Charlotte and Nikki is a real weird way to make Nikki look like lesser than in victories. She keeps winning and looking like the fool at the same time.
Yes. I'm not liking it at all.
I thought I was maybe the only one who saw this. People were all like, oh, how cool. She's gotten like 3 wins in a row against Rhea and Charlotte. And I was like, but she looks stupid.
But they're not wins. They're
Yeah, you're lucky.
and then she gets her ass kicked. It's David Arquette winning the WCW title.
Oof. That's some shit right there. Yeah.
And we love Nikki.
I love Nikki so much. I think that she deserves, even if she caught a roll up because someone's distracted, that's better than these count out victories and these running around beating the clock things. Yes, it makes Nikki look a little bit wily, but no, it doesn't make Nikki look all that strong. She looks weak in victory, and that's upsetting, especially when it's. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, especially since she gets her ass kicked after the match.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
You know, it's like, oh, you got the count out win. Congratulations. Boom, Charlotte just killed you.
Yeah, and Charlotte beats the shit out of you. I'm like, well, fuck, man. Like, yeah, I don't like it, man. I don't like it one bit. I don't give a shit about Charlotte and Rhea. I do not give a shit to see them toying around with Nikki. I'd rather Nikki come out and beat Dana Brooke 2 times in a row than see her get a count out victory over Charlotte once, to be honest.
Well,
Not to say that there's anything wrong with Dana. I'm just saying.
The
Doesn't
beat
need
the
to be a
clock
top star.
challenge at first was what it was.
Yeah.
You know, okay, Rhea couldn't do it. You know, she wasn't paying attention. She's a rookie. Or, you know, Charlotte's a veteran. She'll know. And then Charlotte does the same thing. Then it's like, all right, fine, whatever. Both of them got it. And then to do it, you know, again with another count out, it was like, all right, why?
Yeah.
Like you said, this doesn't make Nikki look like she deserves an actual title shot.
Yeah, 100%. She keeps beating the champion and the number 1 contender, and she doesn't look like she deserves a title shot. And that's insane.
I just want a good Nikki character because I still don't know who she is besides someone that likes to just giggle, dance, say outrageous things occasionally. Like I don't have any other personality, whereas I loved NXT Nikki.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree completely. Prove me wrong.
So we're just waiting patiently.
We are waiting patiently. Kev, you still with me?
Barely.
Barely. Let's see. John Morrison defeated Jeff Hardy via pinfall. I guess I remember that, but I remember more of the second match, Jeff Hardy defeating Cedric Alexander.
Mm-hmm.
Cedric was kind of scream yelling.
His promo... I don't know what's going on with Cedric. When he's cutting these promos right now, he's really yelling to a point where he's throwing his voice out. And I don't think it's necessary. And I don't think it makes him come off more intense than he thinks. I think that he would be just as intense if he said those things like a person and not like a screaming wrestler. I'll say this. Go ahead. What are you going to say?
I was just going to say, he can say them, but with more ferocity in his voice without screaming.
Yes. And it's like...
Just
and
make him mean.
Yeah, be mean, don't yell. There's a difference. Because I will say that I think Cedric Alexander is fucking fantastic. I think he's an incredible talent, and I've got nothing but respect for him. But when I hear promos that are all yelling like that, it comes off real fucking indie to me. That's what indie wrestlers do to get over, is they be loud. You know? And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, Cedric, you're better than this. Just don't say the same thing with that intensity, but without that screaming, and it'll mean more. When you're screaming, you're losing me, you know? And I mean, and who the fuck am I? If he doesn't, I mean, He doesn't listen, and this isn't one of those like, oh, I'll teach you how to do it. I'm just an idiot with a fucking podcast where I hang out with my friends. Like, that's all. But for me personally, if I hear yelling, I'm checking out more so than I'm hearing intensity. Yelling does not equal the intensity.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
there's,
why.
and there's times to yell and stuff like that. But when you're cutting just a normal promo, you don't need to be yelling.
Yeah.
If you're pissed off and you're trying to show the anger and the frustration, yell. Do your thing. But every promo where he comes out and like the ones with Shelton Benjamin, it just seemed like he was talking like you said, he could just talk in a normal voice and it would have done the same exact thing, but he's yelling at him. And it's like, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah, 100%. And you can elevate into yelling. You don't need to start there. It's weird when you come out just yelling to the point where your voice is being thrown out.
I feel like a good reference is Orton. I think he's excellent at just kind of slowly creeping up with intensity.
Yeah. Yeah. Randy Orton will elevate into a yell when he needs to.
Oh,
But he'll
look at
also
the
bring it
Usos
back
this
down.
week.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
so good.
That was the perfect example of they were talking, then they started going back and forth, getting louder and louder, then they're yelling. Cool. Like that makes sense.
yeah. And then Roman brought them back down to make the yelling more important.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yelling's only important when it's the highest intensity level. If you're at that level the whole time, it's just yelling. Yeah. It's that fucking news anchor, I can't control the volume of my voice thing. But when you raise to an intensity where you yell and come back down, it makes that yelling moment seem that much more intense. But who the fuck am I? I'm just an idiot who likes to drink and watch wrestling, and I respect all these people. I love you, Cedric. Don't block me. But Jeff Hardy said if he didn't win this match, he was going to retire.
I was so nervous.
It was
I
terrifying.
was nervous too.
Oh, my God.
I was like, oh, God.
Yeah. I was just sitting there, not like this.
Yeah.
Come on.
No! But Jeff Hardy wins, and now we're off to the races. Do you think we're leading into a storyline of Jeff Hardy doing the whole... Do you think he's going to do the Ric Flair thing? I'll retire when I lose?
No. I don't think so.
I do like
I don't know.
giving Jeff Hardy some strongness here, and I do think that it'd be really cool to see Jeff Hardy go on another good tear.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't think it's going to be like Rick. But, who knows? I think WWE has enough respect for Jeff to give him what he wants, basically.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. I think also how great would those podcasts be if Jeff Hardy leaves WWE on his own terms because of all the things he wanted to do with his own ideas and goes out and talks about the creative freedom he had in WWE in his final moments. I would fucking love it because of the pettiness.
I mean,
Matt Hardy's
I
like,
can see
what
it."
the fuck?
on Vanguard,
Yeah. All that freedom and you didn't use one drone. The fuck? Yeah. All right. Before we move on, Spin Fox talking about Jeff Hardy. He goes, I seen the Jeff Hardy match from last week, and I was like, I think he should retire. He's moving so slow now.
Splinter doesn't know what he's talking about.
He likes Jericho. He has no idea what he's talking about. He goes,
Okay,
I don't like
all
him. He is not moving like he used to. Again, he likes Jericho. I don't want to see Jeff keep wrestling like the man. I want him and to not be in a wheelchair after his career. Again, he watches Jericho. So
Yeah, and I mean, how many times have you seen recently Jeff Hardy mess up?
oh my God, dude! So it wasn't even he messed up, but when he swanton to the outside during that Elias match for the Symphony of Destruction, and his head hit the stairs when he went through that table, that was like he didn't even hit the move wrong. They just missed up where the fucking table ought to be, and his head hit fucking chairs, but or the steps, and I was all like,
Chair
"Fuck!"
twice.
Yeah, I know. I said chair twice. I was like, not chairs, chairs. I didn't mean chairs. I mean chairs. That was the moment where I was all like, "Fuck, no, not like this."
Yeah.
That was a bad one. I will say that.
But he's pretty on point, I feel like.
He doesn't move like he did when he was a kid, but he's not a kid. I do think he doesn't need to do all the same things. I do think that he can absolutely still go to a point, but I do think also, respectively, if he retired in the next year or two, I think that would probably be good. I think he's done what he's going to do in his career, and I think he could have one more really good tear and then hang it up. Let's see. After that, we had the debut de Eva Marie.
Yes, we
Eva
did.
Marie shows up
And
to have a match with Naomi. Everybody feel the glow.
Is that supposed to be your Naomi entrance?
That's Naomi music.
It's
That's exactly how our music goes.
okay. Wrestling Twitter was a flurry before the match even started.
A flit and a flurry. Dude, you should have seen it. I know you don't go on Twitter, but sometimes Twitter's fucking so funny. WWE posted a graphic. Said, tonight, Eva Marie shows up on Raw to face Naomi one-on-one. And everyone went, fuck! All of Twitter said, God damn it, Naomi's losing to Eva Marie for no fucking reason. This Eva Marie can't wrestle for shit. What a fucking piece of shit. How dare she come in here? Naomi deserves better. Naomi should be your champion. She's losing to Eva goddamn Marie.
I was the only one, I guess, who was really excited to see Naomi. I was like, ooh, Naomi's back.
Yeah. When I saw the match lineup, when I was like, Eva Marie versus Naomi, I went, oh, this could be fantastic. I was like, how great is it to see Naomi in a one-on-one match again? Haven't seen that in a while. And if Eva Marie really has something to prove, she'll be able to prove it in the ring with Naomi.
Yeah.
And Naomi's dedicated. So there's no saying how many matches they've had off screen, you know? Like the chemistry might be there. Eva Marie might come in looking like fucking catch as catch can, Chad Gable style. Might really show up like, hey, I have not been doing nothing for 6 years while I've been gone. I was like, this is going. I even told this to producer. She sent me the tweet and said, look at all these comments. And I said, this match is going to set the stage for Eva Marie. We are going to find out in this match alone, because Naomi is so good, we are going to know if Eva Marie is a skilled wrestler, exactly what level she's at, exactly if she's shitty or not. I was like, she might come back with that same gimmick she left with, where she refuses to have the match. But Naomi is the perfect foil to whatever this is going to be to set the stage of who Eva Marie is going to be moving forward.
Yeah.
And then right behind Eva Marie comes Piper Niven, the Otis of NXT UK.
Hey.
What? She's heavy machinery. She's a badass, dude.
She's awesome.
Here's the thing with Piper Niven. She's on NXT UK. I've seen a lot of people go, why are they pretending they don't know who Piper Niven is? She's on NXT UK. She's a huge deal in NXT UK. Well, if you watched NXT UK, you'd know what you're saying is bullshit. She's not a huge deal in NXT UK. She's not utilized to the umpth degree in NXT UK. She's had like 2 matches in the past year, and she always looks very strong. She's incredibly talented, incredibly skilled, and incredibly underutilized in NXT UK right now, which is to her benefit.
To be fair, NXT UK is only 1 hour, so.
NXT UK is only 1 hour. They got a ton of stories they're telling right now. They just aren't utilizing her. Like I said, to her benefit. She's so skilled that it puts her in this position where she can do this exactly this way and be ready for it. Not shitting on Piper at all. Piper Niven's fantastic, and NXT UK wasn't using her. Yeah, move her to the main roster. But all those assholes going, oh, like, no, like, we don't know that she's a main fixture on NXT UK. You're right. You don't know that because you clearly aren't watching. If you watched every week, you'd say, when was the last time we even saw her wrestle? It was like, what, 5 months ago? Go ahead.
But how many times do we see that just in wrestling in general? Look at Davo Kato and Commander Aziz.
Yeah.
You know, Omos, and was he still called Omos when he was just Shane or the Raw Underground bodyguard or doorman? You know, we see this all the time. So to have somebody come from NXT UK and, you know, we act like we don't know their name, is it really that big of a stretch at this point?
Yeah, it's not. And to be honest, if you've only started watching NXT UK in the past year, you might not know who Piper Niven is. There's a good possibility you don't know who Piper is because she has not been utilized over there very much. She is fantastic. She is underutilized. This is a good thing.
And she's also great to her fans online. So she's, you know, if you shout her out or anything, like she'll most likely like your tweet if you're being positive. She's hilarious.
Yeah, she's really funny. She's interactive.
What'd you think of it, Kev?
I mean, I thought it was just normal Eva Marie stuff. Just came out, didn't wrestle, and not much has changed so far. What happened?
Hold up.
Kev, keep talking about, so it was the normal Eva Marie stuff. What do you think about Piper Niven and Piper Niven's performance here? I don't think you watch NXT UK, so what do you think about her?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't the one. I don't really know who she is. I know the name, but I thought she did, well. She, looked like a badass in the ring. She took care of Naomi, and it was just, I just don't understand, like I said, what they're doing with Eva. Like, this was supposed to be her coming out party, like her second chance, and they're just doing the same crap they did before. Where, I'm not gonna wrestle, I'm just gonna stand there. Like,
Yes and no. So I do agree.
You have to talk to me.
Oh, shit.
You do agree what?
Well, then I'm not hearing the same thing you're hearing. I'm hearing what Kev was saying before. So I'm not connected to the thing. I don't hear.
All right, hold up. It says connected.
All right. Well, let's see. Kev, are you still there?
Yes, sir.
Hey. So yeah. So I do think it's like the same but different, right? So before, Eva Marie would refuse to wrestle because there was some sort of thing. Now she's having someone else wrestle her matches, which I think only builds heat. And I think Piper Niven did awesome. She looked fantastic, looked strong as fuck. Fucking broke Naomi in half.
Mm-hmm.
And it sets up Eva Marie to be even more hated than she already was, because she was fucking hated already.
But see, I think this was supposed to be the changing point. Like, she wasn't supposed to be hated, or I thought at least that she wasn't supposed to be hated. This is her second chance. All these promos weren't, "Hey, I'm better than you."
Yeah.
They were, "Hey, let me prove myself. Let me prove myself." And she didn't.
Yeah.
Again.
Hook, line, sinker. You got worked, dude. Love it. That's the whole point.
At the same time, I didn't really care that she was even coming back.
Yeah, right? At first, we don't really care. You hear it and you go, oh, this will be interesting. Oh, it sounds like she's putting in a lot of work. Oh, I guess she's really going to be doing something. Oh, that'll be interesting. Oh, she's got a match with Naomi? I wonder if that'll be a competitive match. Then she comes out and someone else does it, and you go, God fucking damn it.
Yeah.
There was so much chatter just on all the socials. First off, of Naomi coming back and being, she's a jobber to her, and they don't even know Piper's name, and Eva sucks. And I'm just thinking the whole time, wow, all of these people are in or their names are getting out. It's
Oh.
getting around. There's articles being written about them. Good
They
for
are
all of these
feeding
women.
the metrics. Yeah. The amount of people complaining about Eva Marie last night, or was it, what's today? Last night, solidified that Eva Marie is the new staple of Raw. She's over. She got more fucking chatter online than almost anybody on the whole show. Just because you guys are shitting on it doesn't mean it's not interactive. Why do you think Nia Jax is still exactly where she is on the card? Because you guys won't shut the fuck up about her when she's on TV. That's what they want. They want people interacting. And you know what? With Eva Marie, you guys gave her exactly what they wanted. People talking shit the whole fucking night.
Speaking of talking shit, that's what Splinter Fox is trying to do.
Splinter Fox is such a jerk to me. I'm just kidding. Let's see. Splinter Fox does say, I don't watch wrestling Twitter. There's too many the Leprechaun Dunn fans all over it. Yeah, that we take over, dude. And he says, Viper, get it right. I don't know what you're talking about. I know that it's Viper Piper on her Instagram or on her Twitter, but, you know, whatever it is to me is fine. Splinter Fox says, NXT UK is still a thing. Yeah, that's what I mean. And to be honest, some of the greatest women's matches of the year have been there. What was the one that
Hell yeah.
Miko had? Was it?
The one with Valkyrie?
I think it was
love
Aoki
that
Valkyrie. I think that was one of the ones that I was like, holy shit.
You really like that one.
That one, she also had a good match she had two good matches with Kaylee Ray.
Kaylee Ray, yeah.
She had one other one. I can't remember what it was, where I was just like, holy shit.
I don't remember.
Maybe it was the Kaylee Ray
I
one.
think
But
it was
there's been some incredible matches on NXT UK. With Walter, anything with Walter and Maiko Satomura,
Yeah.
worth looking up. Everything else,
Dragon
it's
off.
whatever you like. But
Oh.
those ones are like, fuck, match of the year stuff. TW Take says, I saw one match from Piper in the MYC and knew she was a star. Oh, Mae Young Classic.
Oh, yeah.
She's fantastic. Just in Time says, technical difficulties, take a drink. That's true. It's only episode 1. No need to worry.
That's a great idea if you're listening to us.
Yeah, it's a good drinking game. Technical difficulty, take a shot. Let's see. Splinter Fox does say, to be fair, Toni Storm should have been the one to make the jump from UK to the, quote, main brand. She's in NXT now, so I don't know what you mean. Secondly, I don't think she would make much of a good lackey for Eva Marie. Toni Storm's a bigger star than that. He goes, but I see that they are going with they don't want a high-profile wrestler established already. Yeah, 100%. And they need someone who could be a believable lackey, and Toni Storm's too strong on her own. Toni Storm also has way more star power than I think people give her credit for. And Piper Niven, like her or not, isn't the star power that Toni has.
Not yet.
I think Piper's got a really good spot with this. I think working with Eva Marie's only going to put over Piper more, and eventually leading to the turn will be huge. It'll be good. Sort of Fox says Naomi is the next Natty. Ouch. That's a compliment if you're in the business, just so you know.
Yeah, we love Natty and we love Naomi, so that's pretty damn cool.
Yeah, and literally anybody in the business, if you say that they're the next Natty Neidhart, that's a compliment. Bishop says she hasn't lied. She said she would be a role model. She is the role model for Piper. Yeah. She said she helps people get to that next level. That's what she's doing. And Snowfox says, that is why I don't use Twitter. I don't want to bring in bad news because that still brings in ratings. Yeah. If it's something I don't like, I literally don't comment. I'll never tweet about Nia Jax. I never tweet anything with her name. I don't subtweet. If I don't like it, I don't talk about it. There's no need for that. No conversation is the best conversation about something you don't like.
Piper really reminded me of Bronson Reed in this match. The way she was just standing like a wall, you know, Naomi just bounced back off her. I just thought, damn, she looks so powerful. Mm-hmm. And I mean, to me, it didn't feel like a squash. It felt like establishing Piper and then me getting excited about, oh, I want to see this next match with Naomi. Naomi's going to bring it next time.
Like, imagine if Nia Jax was a great wrestler. Boom, Piper Niven. Just kidding. I'm just fucking around.
Come on. You just said we're not going to shit on other things.
Yeah, but I shit on Nia. That's my thing.
Well, stop.
You didn't do it on Twitter.
I didn't do it on Twitter. I didn't tweet it. Bishop Splinterfox is on the other side of the IWC in this chat. Yeah. Anything else you want to say about Piper, Naomi, or Eva Marie? I thought Eva Marie's gear looked cool. I liked it. It looked more like wrestling gear than what she used to wear. I liked this pairing. I liked it after Piper won. Eva Marie goes, and your winner is me. Like, so good.
Just in time in the chat.
Kev, anything you want to say about this match?
No, I mean, it is what it is. It just, you know, I know I got worked. They were saying there was a debut and there wasn't. That's about it.
Ed, that doesn't just get you so pissed.
Oh, he's furious.
No,
Pointless
because I wasn't
aggression.
excited really that she was even coming back. So now that they're doing the same shit, I'm even more not interested in it.
Yeah, no, 100%. But I do think that was part of the whole game. Really portray her as going to be a thing, and then have her come in.
The redemption story, and then just do the same thing. Like, I
But
get
it's
where
different.
they're coming from. It is, but it isn't. Like,
It's similar but different. She's refusing to wrestle, but she's got someone doing her dirty work. She's got a lackey now. It's a little different. Can you imagine they go on like a 1-year run where Eva Marie is undefeated and never gets in the ring, but her win-loss keeps going up?
I think that'd be terrible.
It reminds me of when Bailey first started Role Model and she, you know, saying she was a role model and just doing these shitty things.
Oh, yeah.
Except people don't really hate Bailey. People really hate Eva.
That's true. People hate her. I love the Eva Marie heat. It's so dope. Just in time to say, I'd rather see Nia than Eva any day. Yes, Nia gets a lot of shit, but at least she actually wrestles. Yeah, but now every time you see Eva, you're going to see Piper. So
Yeah,
that's a win.
And also, at least Eva's not injuring people, so.
Yeah, and Bishop makes a really good point. She
can't injure people if she doesn't get in the goddamn ring.
That's safe.
Yep.
Safety first.
That's what we're all about in this show.
Yeah. What's safer than not doing it? There's nothing safer than abstinence, Kevin. I just wonder if he hung up on me. Bishop does make a good point. She is not refusing to wrestle. She is mentoring a wrestler on how to win. Which is, you know, it's same but different. I'm going to tell you, it is same but different. And I could totally see you not being invested, but I totally think that they're working this a pretty smart way. And Spinnerfox does say how Viper is just going to hand her the title after the win. Oh, that'd be good too. Yeah. Piper goes all the way to the title, wins it, hands it to Eva. She's a champion. No win.
I think they're going to lose more people than they're gaining from it.
Dude, it's Raw. You can't lose more people.
And that also just means bigger cheers for Naomi at the live crowds.
Yeah, people are going to be back Naomi. All right. Kev's fed up with me. Let's see. We got RK Bro defeating the New Day. What'd you think about this one, Kev?
That was good. I mean, I like the pairing. I want them to, you know, move on, see where they go from there.
I've been surprised at how much I've really enjoyed RK Bro at this point. There's a couple spots here and there that goes a little longer than I'd like, but it's not bad stuff.
See, this is somebody mentoring somebody on learning how to win.
Oh, shit. You just turned that around on us. It's not cool at all. Yeah, Orton's been awesome on this one. To be honest, if it weren't for Orton, I don't think I would like Matt Riddle even a little bit at this point. Because I haven't liked anything he's done, but I've enjoyed so much with how Orton has responded to Riddle that it's made me like Riddle so I can see how Orton responds to Riddle. So I'll give you that too. That also Spinner Fox agrees. He says Randy is taming the bro stallion. Yeah, probably there. Yeah, it was just a really good match. I do like the New Day and RK Bro. What'd you think about the segment in the back with the New Day and MVP? MVP's talking some shit. And Kofi's like, go fuck yourself, dude. Why don't you go like Bill Apter and fuck yourself? Well, we talked about it earlier in the same show. It was part of the show. I'm just saying. What'd you think about all that, Kev?
I'm curious to see where it's going. You know, they're slow playing it instead of just, you know, a wild turn or wherever they're going to go with it. But, you know, I just wish they would let more in on what MVP's intentions are.
Yeah, something's up with it. I think it's definitely not over. I liked how Xavier Woods was talking some shit. I like how he told MVP, he's all like, hey, Pete, can you wrap this up? I got to get home and put more water in your mom's dish. It's like, fuck. So,
and then he just ignores them. Like, he
Yeah,
didn't
he
even
did.
say anything.
I know. So I was like, God damn, dude. You guys are just throwing fucking mean ones down in each other, and you guys are just like, eh. It's fucking crazy. Let's see. After this, we had Rhea Ripley defeating Asuka in a pinfall. Charlotte Flair comes back out and gets into like a fucking mean kind of pull apart with Ripley and ends up with a bloody fucking nose. Do you think Ripley gave her one back? Do you think she finally was all like, hey, you're not going to get stiff on me for no fucking reason? Because we've talked about it before. Charlotte seems to get real fucking liberty. Like real fucking... Well, taking liberties. I'm trying to think how to say it otherwise. But she seems to be like real fucking stiff with people when she's starting these rivalries to like prove something. And a lot of them back down. Shayna backed down. We talked about it. She took a couple real mean fucking hits from Charlotte that was clear as day, and Shayna didn't do shit about it. Do you think this is Rhea stepping up and saying no?
I want to say yes, but I think, you know, watching it, I think she kicked her when she was trying to come in, and I can see how it was a accident, but I can also see it as a receipt.
Yeah.
And, you know, like I said, I would like to see that.
Yeah.
I will say that Charlotte's little get up that she wore out there, that leotard thing,
Yeah.
that needs to be her freaking ring attire.
Yeah, that'd have been cool.
Because that looks more interesting than the same shit, especially, you know, she's good, she's bad, she's good, she's bad. She still comes out the same exact way.
Yeah. Although it's a little close to Becky Lynch's like 2018 gear where it was like the fire on it.
Yeah.
So in our chat, Justin Time brings up a good point or observation. He says, am I the only one who felt like the way that they were pointing the camera at Charlotte's bloody nose, they viewed it as Becky Lynch moment with Nia?
I think they thought that, but it definitely wasn't that. No one gave a shit that Charlotte had a bloody nose.
Well, I think Charlotte was trying to get that too.
Yeah.
Because
so,
I think Charlotte thought her nose was bleeding a lot, especially by the way she like looked like she tried to like smear the blood back that you see, you know, put it in her hair and stuff, and there's just nothing there. It's just, you know.
Yeah. She was like flaring her nostrils like she thought it was just gonna pour blood. She just didn't do shit, and you got a little bloody nose. Fucking relax. What? Yeah, she thought she was Stone Cold crying. She thought she was Becky Lynch being blacked out. Like, the thing is like,
Those weren't planned.
what happened to Becky could have gone a completely different way. Becky got her orbital socket cracked by Nia Jax, and her consciousness shut off, and her subconsciousness took over. There's no recollection from what happened from the moment she got struck to the moment she woke up. If you're in a moment where you're fully cognizant of everything that's happening, it's not that moment. and we know it. And there's everything about it that's different. Mick Foley trying to push his tongue through his own lip, his tooth sticking out of his nose, is not a moment he remembers clearly. It's not that moment. So when Charlotte feels like she got a bloody nose and goes, "This is it. This is my moment," it's not. It's immediately not your moment. What do you think, Kev?
Yeah. No, 100%. Just like we were talking about with McAfee, it felt like Charlotte was trying to force something.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, a moment. She was trying to say, "Hey, look it, this is going to be a big moment," and it just wasn't. And like you said, no one really cared that she got a bloody nose. Like,
No one cares she got a bloody
we
nose.
we see people all the time in matches, and they accidentally get cut, or accidentally bleed, and stuff like that. And it's like, oh shit. And this was kind of that, but it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, 100%. It wasn't that bad. This isn't John Cena getting his nose broken by Seth.
Or even Beth Phoenix.
Or even Beth Phoenix in the Rumble. Having her head cracked open. This isn't that moment. You got a little bit of a bloody nose and you think you're big shit. It's not it. This isn't your moment. Fucking relax. The other thing is this. I don't know anybody who gives a shit about Charlotte and Rhea in this rivalry. I just don't.
Nope.
There's people who are like, it's going to be amazing. It'll be great. They always put on a banger. Well, maybe. I'm not checked in. I don't know a lot of people who are checked in. I'm not trying to dig on those performers. I think they're doing everything they can with what they have. Thing is I'm so checked out with everything that Charlotte does because it's the same as everything else she ever does that, yeah, if she gets a bloody nose, that's fine. It doesn't amp it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's no sympathy, or there's no oh my god moment. Like I said, it was just a simple, nosebleed, and we said it wasn't even that bad, but the way she was trying to play it up just made me not appreciate Charlotte that much more.
Nope, it felt petty.
And with Charlotte and this rivalry with Rhea, I think people are checked out because, like you said, it's the same thing. We don't dislike the performer; we dislike the character.
Yeah.
And
And
the
the
level of
character-
authenticity.
Yeah, and the character is just not hitting home for a lot of people. I don't think we're the only ones feeling that.
I agree, and I think that this felt even more forced. Oh, my nose is bleeding? Perfect, I can use this. Yeah, maybe. I don't think it was what he... Schamberger's not painting up a Charlotte with a bloody nose painting right now, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Let's see, I'm going to hit the chat real fast. He says, Splinter Fox says, good for Rhea. Rhea needs to have the mindset that she is the best. Ruffle some feathers, she is the future in any locker room. Can't disagree. As much as I want to disagree with Splinter Fox, and I want to, it's one of those ones I can't. He goes, I want Rhea to be done with Flair already. I want to know who is next for the Nightmare. Bring in Kaylee Ray versus Rhea. I've been underwhelmed by Kaylee, but it could be something. She definitely put on some real fucking bangers with Maiko. The two matches that Kaylee Ray had with Maiko Satomura were fucking fantastic. And as I always say, if your last two matches were my favorite two matches you've ever had, then that's a good swing to be on, and that's where she's at right now. So.
Although I don't think I've seen any Satomura match I haven't liked.
Yeah, Satomura is just fucking good, just so good. But all right, we'll see how it goes, I guess. Do you think they get the title up back on Charlotte here? I will say that after this, they had Charlotte looking really strong. She laid out, Rhea Ripley laid out Charlotte in the match before with Charlotte, and then here Charlotte gets her nose busted and can't get to Rhea. So they're having Rhea look really strong, which makes me think they're going to put the title on Charlotte.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see that. I just don't know why. And I don't know if that's just me coming from, not liking her character at this point, or is it just, storyline wise?
I think it's because they're going back to crowds and they want the people who they've always wanted at the front, Charlotte and Drew.
Ugh.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. It's possible. Spinner Fox does say, that is what I'm scared of for Rhea. What is next? The 5-foot Disney child, unless they move Rhea to SmackDown in the draft. But at the same time, Rhea Ripley's the one who eliminated Alexa Bliss from the Royal Rumble. So there's actually a built-in story there that's not there with Charlotte. Charlotte's so forced in every aspect, where with Alexa, at least it would be a natural story. Speaking of Alexa, we had Alexa defeating Nia Jax via disqualification because Reginald interfered after Alexa hit the Twisted Bliss onto Nia. Reginald runs in, picks up Alexa out of the pin in the weirdest pin breakup for no fucking reason I've ever seen. Because the match was over and it made no fucking difference. What does a win-loss mean for Nia if she's already out? Plus, if you touch Alexa, then she gets the win. Does it matter? There was no sense in it. If Nia gets a loss because of pinfall or a loss because of a DQ, it's a loss in the, quote, record books, if that's what you're going for. And that was the finishing move. That was it. It was over. All you did was stop the 3 count, but you didn't stop the loss. I don't understand for 1 second the mentality of why Reginald would have interfered in that moment, but he did. And then Alexa did this weird hypnotic mind control thing with Reginald. Nia Jax finally runs in and says, "Scram, bitch!" So she scrams, does a little thing with her hand. Reginald does a similar thing, and now we wonder, is there a possession? Kev, what do you think about all this and what I just laid out?
No, I agree 100% with you. Match was over. Nia's got nothing to gain. If you're going to have Reginald interfere, have him do it before the Twisted Bliss.
Mm-hmm.
You know, have him stand over Nia or even covering Nia, and then have, you know, Alexa do the Twisted Bliss and on both of them or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, match philosophy, or not philosophy, psychology right here just made absolutely no sense.
Yeah. I didn't get it. Not one bit. But what do you think about the whole possession thing afterwards, that hypnosis thing? What do you think about that?
The only thing, like, I didn't care too much about it. It was whatever. The only thing is I think Reginald's going to be the difference in their match, or Shayna and Alexa's match. And then he's going to blame it being on, you know, being hypnotized and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I wonder if something's going to happen with Reginald, if we're going to see a huge shift in him, which wouldn't be the worst thing, especially if it breaks up him and Nia. I think this Nia Reginald thing has played its, what do you call it? Played its course?
Run its course.
Run its course. That's what they do. They run courses. It's coursed its course.
Of course.
It's like Mr. Ed shit right now.
I know, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, I think I'm ready to move on from Reginald and Nia, Reginald and Shayna, Reginald and whatever. Although, how crazy would it be if at the end of Hell in a Cell, by the end of it, we have a new faction with Alexa, a possessed Shayna, and a possessed Reginald? That could be neat.
I mean, yeah, it'd be interesting. But then all that's leading up to is Nia versus Alexa, which, you know,
Sure.
let's see where it goes. Like, maybe get storyline. Like you said, there's a good backstory behind them, but
Yeah.
how far
No.
deep do we want to go into this?
It's a good point. It's a good point. I don't want to say the words I'm thinking in my mind, but I agree with what you just said in essence. Let me get what you think about this stuff. Another one of these, please. Yeah, in a minute. Yeah. Just in Time does say, I don't get why WWE protects Nia Jax so much. It isn't going to kill her to take some losses. And that's just it. She took a loss either way. That's what really gets me about it. She either takes the pinfall or the DQ. They chose the DQ over the pinfall and the mid-pitfall. That's what doesn't make any sense. She took the loss. Or no, I guess she took a win by DQ. I guess. Maybe I'm mistaken it. I'm just thinking slowly. Fox does say, can Bliss just go back to normal or move to Hollywood already? Bliss is becoming the puppet master. Meh. I want to know what you think about that. A lot of people are talking about being tired of the Supernatural Alexa stuff or Alexa being an issue and all that. I have no problem with any of it. As much as I don't like a lot of super phony shit all the time, I also don't get all that invested into horror film stuff. So seeing a sprinkling in this here, it hasn't bothered me. And I thought it's been well executed. What do you think about the Alexa stuff as far as the movie magic of it all?
I mean, I can see where it's coming from because with The Fiend and Alexa, they moved it so slow, but it was so methodical and great that it kept everyone hooked. With, with Bray and all his personal stuff that he's going through and his spot at Mania, and then all of a sudden now he's gone again. I can see how people are sick. It's I can see how it's kind of stale.
Yeah.
Now we have this doll all of a sudden. Oh, now the doll's running the show.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see it. Like if Bray came back and him and Alexa were doing their thing, that cool, but this same slow, methodical move with Alexa and Lily and what her intentions are, like I said, I can see where people are sick of it.
Yeah. I mean, I get it to a degree, but I think people are overreacting to their hatred of it. Like, I think people are leaning into a narrative of it and not just objectively watching it. Right? I mean, we dig into stuff a lot. We look a little closer than most, and we talk a lot about the psychology of it all, and this is why this may or may not make sense. But at the end of the day, we are just watching it to enjoy it. And we never lose sight of that. I think it's something that you and I do a good job of we just watch it. And we like it or don't. And if we don't like it, then we might break down what we really didn't like about it. If we do like it, sometimes we'll go in deep on what makes it so good. But at surface level, first watch, we're just seeing if we dig it. Yeah. And I think a lot of people come in with a preconceived notion of what they should be seeing, what they are seeing, and have used someone else's narrative of what wrestling should or should not be, or what booking should or should not look like, that they allow that to influence how they view it.
Yeah, 100%. A perfect example, once again, is Charlotte Flair.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm supposed to like Charlotte because she's Rick's daughter. Oh, I'm supposed to like it because she's more athletic. Well, when you actually look at it, she's really not more athletic than some of these other women.
She does a moonsault.
And and then it's like, okay, well, they keep pushing her, and it is that narrative of, well, this is what I'm supposed to like because this is why I like it. Same as Drew.
Yeah.
Well, they tell me I'm supposed to like this, so I do it. I don't know if it's them not breaking it down or what they're looking for or what they enjoying, but when we actually look into it, it's like, hey, this is what I like about wrestling, this is what I don't like, and those guys fall in line with what I don't like.
Yeah. And I'll even give you this from a broader perspective, like the Meltzer narrative. The amount of times I see people say, oh, Roman Reigns is terrible, he's never had a 5-star match. What are you fucking talking about?
According to them. Exactly.
Yeah, what the fuck are you talking about? The amount of people who I see, and this is the other thing too, and I'm not going to take away anything from Kenny Omega here. I talk a lot of shit about a lot of people, whatever. There are a number of people whose opinion is that Kenny Omega is the greatest wrestler in the world. Fine. That's absolutely fine. But the argument they have against Roman Reigns is he doesn't have as many 5-star matches as Kenny. And the argument being, well, Kenny's had this many 5-star matches. Kenny's done this in the Wrestling Observer. That's the part that confuses me. I don't mind anyone saying that they think Kenny Omega is the absolute greatest wrestler of all time. That's totally
That
fine.
can be your opinion.
Yeah. But if your reason is because Dave Meltzer rated him so high, that doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't. You know what I mean? Like, the number of stars on a match is relevant to why. It's purely Dave's enjoyment of the match, which is also fine. To say, hey, I typically like what Dave Meltzer likes is one thing. But to say, well, Kenny Omega's clearly better because he's had more 5-star matches is an argument I just don't understand. I understand the argument. Go ahead.
I was going to say, especially nowadays where Dave Meltzer seems to have a vendetta against WWE, where it's a one-sided thing. So,
for sure.
You know, you can't sit there and
But
say,
that
well,
was
he had
standing.
more 5-star. What's that?
That was standing, 100%. Like, I mean, there's a bias there to begin with because of Meltzer being denied the access he wanted and all that. But that was standing. If your reason is the number of 5-star matches going, then you're purely asking someone else to tell you who is the best wrestler. And that doesn't make sense to me, right?
Who you're supposed to like and who you're not supposed to like.
That's my point.
You know, even when we were younger and we were kids watching this stuff, you know, even my kids, a lot of times they like the heel when they're not supposed to.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, well, I like this guy. Why? Well, I don't know. I like the way he moves. I like his moveset. I like, you know, his flair, if you would. And, you know,
Dude,
there's so many.
Your
wrestling
youngest
teams
fucking
out
around,
there.
that little picture that your wife sent me of your youngest fucking around with dry ice in a Fiend mask is probably my favorite picture of any of your kids. It is amazing.
Yeah. I mean, that's what he, you know, and Fiend, you can say he's a heel or a face and stuff like that, which is whatever. But, you know, you like who you like because that's, you know, for whatever reason. There's 100 different reasons why you like.
How you connect.
Yeah.
But asking someone else to rate your favorite wrestler is denying the connection you can have with these talent.
Yeah.
I'll say. And that's what it comes down to.
And a lot of it, too, is backstory.
Yeah.
I remember Randy Orton. I started liking Randy Orton because he was from St. Louis.
Yeah. I mean, that's
like,
true.
Cool. You know. It's,
100%.
yeah, I don't understand how, you know, like you said, somebody else rating this guy's matches and this, you know, this wrestler or superstar. Okay, well, I'm gonna like that too. Well, why? Like, you can't have your own opinion on things.
The amount of people I've heard just talk about how certain wrestlers from Japan are the greatest wrestler ever, and then finding out they'd never actually seen a match, they just read reviews by Meltzer, is like, okay, I get that you trust the person's probably good if you read a review that said that, but I also don't get that you're standing by it so wholeheartedly when you haven't seen the match. Like, how did it make you feel? How did you feel watching it? And that's what I mean. What it all comes down to,
like you said.
How did you connect? Bailey is my favorite because I connected with her very, very early on. You know what I mean?
Because you guys had the same haircut.
We had the same haircut. And I was like, she looks like me. No.
I connected with Naomi in a totally different way.
Yeah. Producer's absolute favorite is Naomi because they both dance. Like, it's these things that make all the difference and make it all the more fun. When we were second row at Rumble and Naomi jumps off the floor and onto the barricade
Right in front of us.
Producer couldn't have been more excited in her entire fucking life. She couldn't have been screaming more. She was so excited to see Naomi right there pulling some crazy shit off. Because it was her absolute favorite, because they just both happen to dance. Like, those are the moments you're going to have and the connection you're allowed to have if you don't let someone else tell you why you should like someone. We just like breaking down what we like and why we don't, and we just want to have drinks and have fun. That's all it is. Yeah. I'm going to hit the chat real quick. Bishop does say mission statement from the front page of the R side of the IWC. I'm not sure what the line was. I hope you pulled it, clipped it maybe. Lunar says, facts. Winterfox says, I'm thinking logical now, and I like this one. I read it before. How are you going to pull off all this supernatural stuff in front of a live crowd? You just going to have Bliss video packages all the time? That's just it. Is for one, they pulled off some of it live with Bray before when they had crowds. Although you would see those little fan cams where they record like a little segment here or there or a little clip it where you'd see him jump under the ring or some shit. And that's going to happen. I think they pull back a lot on it. I think that they're doing it so heavily right now because they can. But I do think they pull back, and I do think they get creative and dabble in it in a different way. More like we saw Fiend with a live crowd and less like we're seeing now. That's my feeling, my belief. What do you think?
But the other thing is how much stuff did we see back in the day with Kane, Undertaker, and Mankind? You know, they can pull this stuff off, and they will. You know, it may not be 100% supernatural and, you know, camera cuts and stuff like that, but I think it'll still come out great if they do it right.
Yeah.
Just like anything else.
Fun. And at the end of the day, the fan cams, what makes it annoying, same thing that made it annoying with AEW when they, was it with Shaq? When he got carted off in an ambulance, then a fan cam came out where, like, they didn't even pull the ambulance away. It was in front of that was the thing that annoyed me. It was like, you could at least pull the ambulance to the back of the building. But they didn't. They loaded him up, waited for commercial, and then he just stepped right out. Walked away. And the fan cam came out of it. And I was like, okay, well, you didn't have to release the fan cam, man. Like, don't be a shitty fan. Let the movie magic happen. You know what I mean?
These are the same internet trolls that get happy just to take somebody else down.
Oh, and get prideful when they go, here's a list of all the wrestlers who've blocked me. All right, fuck off.
Yeah.
What are you happy getting blocked for?
But the other thing is that AEW and WWE both need to step up because they should know that around every corner is now a fan with a phone.
Yeah.
And they can record it. So something as stupid as that with the ambulance, yeah, just pull it around. You know,
yeah,
they don't need to see when Shaq gets out. You know.
100%. And same shit happened with Fiend. When Fiend would jump out from behind it would all go black, and then he'd be running up the ramp, and he would just quite not be out way to the ramp when the lights would kick back on, and a fan cam would catch his like feet going through the back curtain. Like, that look, see, he was running away. Okay. None of us thought he actually vanished. We just want to enjoy the show.
But see, for more,
he's not actual magic
stuff. Well, and that's exactly what I was going to say is with a lot of the supernatural stuff, I wouldn't be surprised if WWE brought in a magician and say, okay, sleight of hand type of thing, look what's over there, and then something else happens that most people aren't going to catch.
Yeah. Yeah. And 100%, I can tell you, because I listen to the Bruce Pritchard podcast, they have. With the Buried Alive stuff, they brought in a magician to ask him how to do the Buried Alive stuff. But all that said, let me hit the chat. We're close to almost done with the Raw. I like that conversation, though. Let's see. Take says, Spinner Fox can't like or hate something based on what we don't know. Give it one or two times in front of a live crowd, because if it does work, then you didn't like it for no reason. So he's saying, like, what's this going to look like in front of a live crowd? Sort of like what we said. I don't know. We're going to find out. Maybe there's fan cams that come out. I don't like fan cams that do that. Here's the thing, is I record a lot and take pictures a lot when I'm at shows too, because I do go back and look at them. I'm one of those weirdos who takes it and then also looks at it. If I found a clip where I was like, oh, look, here's the Undertaker sneaking around, I'd send it to Kev and Clump and my brother. But I wouldn't post it on the internet just because it's all like, and here's a fun little thing.
Put it on Twitter.
Yes. Then the producer would be like, I'm putting on Twitter. We're journalists now.
I would not. I let the movie magic happen.
Yeah, there's a certain point of it we just enjoy it and let it be. Oh, I proved the Fiend wasn't actually a demon. Great, good job. Great. You cracked it.
Yeah, I also don't think Corbin's a king, so,
Corbin's not a king? What are you talking about? He won King of the Ring. I saw it.
Okay.
Let me hit this real quick, and I will say before I read this, because I was kind of glancing at it, I was not talking about you, Splinter Fox. I was talking about people I actually see online. He says, I didn't have Kenny on my top 10, and I'm a ride or die AEW. I don't like the current Kenny right now. I think he is being carried right now. Jungle Boy is going to be great. Versus him, I didn't like the Moose match. I heard some bad things about that match. I was unfortunate to hear because they're both great talent. He is not the Kenny I knew in NJPW, which is also Clump's complaint. Clump couldn't have been more happy about the AEW coming to fruition. And one of his greatest disappointments is that the Kenny Omega he has is not the Kenny Omega he invested in. But he goes, yeah. He goes, I also prefer this Roman right now, and they better not try to make him a face, damn it. I mean, we'll see how it goes. I mean, there's a certain point where you just do what you do and people like or they don't. Like, I mean, think about Bray and Miz. That whole storyline with The Fiend and The Miz, The Fiend literally invaded Miz's home and attacked his children, and we still cheered Bray. So, we'll see. Spinner Fox says, I don't read Dave Meltzer match, which is fine. That's good. NJPW is the best to me. I like the strong style. They're hard-hitting and can fly. I could watch NJPW forever. I agree with that, too. Dork Chop, if you ever get the chance to check out him, Dork_Chop on Twitch, has a great little community over there, and he has a Discord, and he hosts watch-alongs from time to time. He's been a little busy lately, but he's hosted the Wrestle Kingdoms that I've watched. And there's been times where he's like, oh, here's my favorite NJPW matches, and we've just watched them all night long. And yeah, their style there is noticeably different and unmatched. It's hard to argue when you're watching some of that stuff. This just isn't a different level of contest. But yeah, I wasn't talking about you, Splinter Fox. I was just saying I see that stuff online. People saying Kenny Omega's the best because this many 5-star matches, end of story. And you go, what? Kev, let's get to a point of wrapping it up. Jackson Riker defeated Elias in a fine match. What do you think about this, though? They had an Jackson Riker promo. They had Elias promo. What do you think about this iteration of Jackson Riker before we talk about the last hour real quick?
I don't mind it. I want to see where it goes. I'm interested.
Yeah.
That's about it. The one thing I did notice this week that I didn't notice last week is how much a cleaned up Jackson Riker looks like a tattooed, what's his name? The hype bro.
Cardona?
Zack Ryder.
I thought that too, but you know who you reminded me of was that Stifler kid.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
But, I think if you put Ryder and Riker right next to each other.
Brothers?
They look like, yeah. One's tatted up and one's not.
That's a good point. I'll shoot that over to Matt Cardona, see what he thinks, see if he can't come back. I'll tell you this. As much as I don't typically like Jackson Riker, and I do think his numerous ill-timed tweets were shitty, I was surprised at how much I was digging his promo here. I did think that as a TV persona, and that's what we have to judge it by, is what we see, to be honest. Like, there's a certain level of shitty, and there's a certain level of predator, and if you're somewhere in between, like, I think you might be a shitty person to hang with, might not mean that you're a shitty person on TV. It's just, it's a character, whatever. But the way that he played off his character here, I was kind of behind. I was like, okay, this guy seems intense. He seems serious. Seems like there's something here. I was surprised at how much I dug that promo and how I couldn't figure out who I was behind in the match. And I would think that it would be a slam dunk otherwise. If I hear Elias is in a match, I go, yeah, that's my guy. But after that promo, I was like, I don't know on this one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. Elias has just been so up and down, a push, no push. It's, really hard to get behind people like that. That's how I kind of feel with Carmella right now.
Yeah. Yeah, well, because she's kind of a ping pong of pushes. I'll give you that. I love her, everything she does, but we'll see. Let's see real quick. Splinter Fox says, how has Elias has not won a championship yet is crazy. The dude's incredible.
He's a 24/7 title holder.
Oh, shit. He held 24/7 title. That's a good point, Splinter Fox. You done fucked up.
Yeah, so did 50 other people within like a month.
Okay, everybody needs to calm down. He's a former champion. God damn it. So is Gronk, future Hall of Famer.
But yeah, Elias is great.
Yeah, Elias is fantastic. I mean, I think Elias is going to be that Big E story in a few years. That whole, like, or even the Kofi. I've been here for 11 years, 10 years, 15 years. It's been taking me this long. I think Elias has that level of longevity and that level of skill that I think that, unfortunately, I think it will be in a couple of years that he will have this big coming to championship storyline that we're all going to be behind, because we're going to be like, yes, that's right. We've loved you and hated you the whole way through, you know?
I would, now that I think about it, I would love to see LA Knight and Elias.
Yes. Yeah.
Because we know they both can go.
Oh, yeah, they can go. Let me see. All right. We're going to talk about that other tweet here in a minute, or the message here. So the last hour, dude, was Drew versus AJ Styles, and then a couple of melees, a DQ here and there. Bobby Lashley gets involved. Drew McIntyre and the Viking Raiders against Bobby Lashley, AJ, and Omos. This was an hour long of Drew in the ring in different iterations. And to me, the biggest takeaway is, goddamn, AJ Styles is so fucking good, and he works amazing with the Viking Raiders. And Bobby Lashley looks like a beast, almost knows exactly how to be a big star. And Drew McIntyre's still fucking here for some reason. That's how I felt watching this whole last hour.
No, 100%. And to me, it started all with Drew's promo.
Oh, where he fucking called Bobby Lashley Trashly?
Yeah, he calls him Trashly, and then refers to him as Lashley 5 times after that in the same promo.
Yeah.
He thinks he can speak well.
Yeah.
He thinks he's a gooder talker.
But then, like, once again, it's another story time with Drew. And as soon as he, this promo started going, I was like, all right, I'm out again. They gave him like 5 minutes to talk, and he tells a story for 5 minutes.
Yo, when Drew McIntyre is like, oh, let me tell you a story about William Wallace. Like, first off, I know Mel Gibson just fine. Secondly, Drew McIntyre story time is no Samoa Joe night AJ Styles. You want to fucking have a story time? Samoa Joe's your guy. Remember that fucking promo? Night?
Oh, yeah.
Terrifying.
Yeah. He made it personal. Like, that was the same Hello Wendy one, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the whole Wendy storyline where he shows up at his house. Fucking breaks into that house. Here's the deal. I mean, Drew McIntyre's story time, after you've had a Samoa Joe story time, the reason we all remember it is because it fucking sent chills down our spines when Samoa Joe did that fucking night story. And we're like, fuck. AJ's going to die and his whole family's going with him. Drew McIntyre tells a story time. There. It's fucking Billy Madison. You're right, AJ wasn't there. That's what I mean. Like,
yeah, but the other thing is that even Aleister Black had his 5 chapters of story time, and they were at least interesting. Like, we were, I would watch it and be like, okay,
yeah,
where is it going? Where is it going? When Drew's just giving us a history lesson of Scottish warriors and kings. Like, I'm not interested in it.
Not interested.
He's giving us things that he's hoping will catch our attention, and it's not connected.
Well, yeah, and then the other thing that got me with the promo is, he shits on Lashley or Trashly and says, well, look at what he's doing with this. The title doesn't mean anything. All the ladies around there, I'm bringing prestige. And then during his story, he talks about William Wallace's big, swollen brain.
Yeah. He talked about a big old dick.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah. He's big, massive, swollen. He didn't say swollen, but he used another.
He's like throbbing.
Yeah.
Vascular. Drooping brain.
Yeah.
I don't care what he says. I'm cheering so loud for Lashley when we see him live.
Yeah. Drew McIntyre's like, the one thing about William Wallace everyone talks about is how he's hanging brain because he's so smart. And you're like, no, it's not because he's so smart, dude. It was awful, man. It was awful, and I don't give a shit, and it doesn't make you more Scottish. That's the weird bit, is it feels like he's trying to prove to me he's Scottish. I swear to God, I'm Scottish. Okay, fine.
I believe the accent.
Yeah, I believe you. I'm not like half robot anymore, I'm like a full-on Scot. No one thought you were a robot.
He's not half Terminator anymore.
It's fucking bullshit, dude.
But for him to have that promo where he shits on Lashley about something, then immediately contradicts himself and pretty much does the same exact thing. I'm like, what? Where is this going? What is the purpose of it?
It's fucking awful. He had no place in this entire last hour. I was so fascinated by seeing AJ and the Viking Raiders. Yo, AJ and Ivar? I want that match one-on-one.
Yeah.
They were incredible in the ring together.
Yeah, and that's what to me they're leading up to is Viking Raiders versus AJ and Omos, again.
Ooh.
And, have them go back and forth. Great. I'm interested in that.
Yeah.
But this does not make me in the least bit excited for Drew and Bobby in the Hell in a Cell.
Do you think they're putting the title back on Drew here?
I don't know. Half of me, this kind of reminds me of WrestleMania and WrestleMania Backlash, where I'm like, I can see them doing it, but I'm hoping they don't.
Yeah. Dude, I'm telling you, if I'm at SummerSlam and Drew McIntyre comes out with a title, I'm booing so hard my ass blows out.
Please no.
It's not going to take much.
Doesn't take much.
We have to have
It's gonna
some
be the Taco
signs
Bell
ready.
before the pay-per-view that's going to do that.
We got to come up with some good signs, but I feel like
Chalupa Supreme. What?
I feel like they really haven't allowed the championship to flourish, for Bobby to really have a kick-ass time with the belt, and I feel like it's just because they're waiting for Drew to get back in front of crowds. And I think I sent you an article about how that is what he wants.
Yeah.
And I feel so bad for Bobby because he's such a believable champ to me.
100%. A lot of this feels like them not knowing what to do with Bobby next because they're so focused on Drew. And I'm like, fucking drop Drew.
But see,
I'm not saying fire the guy. Just to go back. I'm not saying fire the guy. He doesn't deserve any of that. I'm saying he doesn't need to be in the world title picture right now. Go ahead, Kev.
Well, see, I think that's what they're alluding to. Is I think, and this is where the half of me that wants to read into it and, that doesn't want, no, don't get me wrong. There's none of me that wants Drew to win.
No.
Thinking that they're not going to give it to him is that the whole stuff with MVP and Kofi in the back.
Yeah.
Where, because to me, it seems like MVP's trying to get Kofi to be, he's shitting on him. Kofi Mania was nothing. It's over. It's dead. Help us. Help Bobby retain the title against Drew. And hopefully it does the exact opposite or it does help Bobby retain the title, but then next in line's Kofi. Which I'm okay with Kofi and Bobby at SummerSlam.
Fuck yes, that's what I want. Kofi and Bobby, Bobby and Brock, something like that, some sort of iteration of that. I'd be 100% down for. But yeah, this whole thing felt like Bobby and Drew McIntyre didn't need to be a part of all of this. Drew definitely didn't be a part of it. That whole fucking promo about Trashley. Let me call him Trashley while I talk about Lashley. Let me tell you about Scotland. Let me prove to you I'm Scottish. I believe you're Scottish. It's fine. You have a dress and a sword, and it's just adorable, and you're a Scotsman. It's fine. You're no longer half robot. I get it. Let me hit the chat real quick, and we'll see if we can't wrap this up tonight. I know that we went a little bit longer than we had intended. But dude, I mean, that's what this is all about. We just love this stuff, man. We just love it. The whole reason we started doing this show is because this used to be just you and me talking on the phone. I'd sit in my car for an hour and a half after being home and be like, well, I ought to go in and eat something. I'd come inside, producer be all like, well, I made your dinner an hour ago when you pulled up and now it's cold. And I was like, well, I was talking to Kev about wrestling, so some things needed to shift.
And then I started watching and then you didn't want to have the same conversation over.
That's a good point. She's like, that's what I think. And I was like, that's fine.
Yeah, it's pretty much nothing's changed. We just threw in a mic. That's it.
Look, I already talked about it. Just fucking drop it. Real quick, I'm going to go back to this one spin box. But he said Elias should have held the title during his CD sale, but if they wait too long, he might get cut before he even gets a shot. It would be a shame. Dude, don't quit talking about everyone getting fired, man. Now everyone's got to get fired all the time. He'll be around forever.
Yeah, we don't want people to get fired.
Yeah. No, he doesn't want him to get fired, but he's just saying, like, hey, at this point, they're dropping names like crazy, so who fucking knows? And I hear him there. But I do think that he's got the capability of being something special in that regard. Spin Fox does say, Drew and Dunn, send them back to OVW where they belong and call them the Islanders and put them against the Headbangers. I mean, Al Snow's over at OVW. That's pretty good stuff. But yeah, probably is, right? And then Bishop says, did you see Drew give Lashley the FU arm gesture? The worst face and really bad at being a heel. Yo, there has been nothing Drew has done since Royal Rumble last year that made me think he wasn't a heel. By the time we got to Mania, I was rooting.
Real quick, but keep going.
All right. I was rooting for Brock Lesnar by the time we got to Mania. I was like, oh shit, I want Brock to win this one. Drew's a cocky son of a bitch. He's got a bad attitude and he thinks he could just beat everyone. And he's walking around like he's top shit. I want him to get humbled by Brock Lesnar. And then Brock Lesnar lost and I went, fuck, what are we looking at now? There's been nothing since Drew won Royal Rumble that makes me think he's not a heel.
No, 100%. And going into that Rumble, you know, I even, you know, I was like, I think I called Drew winning, but I was like, you know, he could, you know, like, I don't want to say deserved, but he could use a nice push like this.
Yeah.
And then they gave it to him, and I was like, sweet. And then ever since then, it was just like, not interested in it, not interested in it. Keep going next, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Slim Fox does say, it's a shame you didn't see AJ versus Joe in TNA. They had a war back then. You just got a taste of it in WWE. I did see a lot of
back in the day.
Yeah, I went back and rewatched it, actually. I love it. I love everything AJ and Joe have ever done together. They're all on different levels. Obviously, this is better than that. This one's better than that. This is here. But at the end of the day, there's nothing the two of those guys haven't done together that hasn't been some form of gold. You're talking platinum or gold. You know what I mean? Like, is it white gold or is it normal gold? I don't know. It's all very fucking valuable. It's perfect. Like,
I was going to say platinum and diamond. I thought we were going off of record sales.
Oh, I was talking periodic table.
Yeah.
You homeschool now. You should know. I'm just kidding. You're not homeschool. It's just fucking COVID. Spinnerbox to say Bobby versus Brock SummerSlam is going to happen. Roman versus Cena is going to happen. I didn't know you were booking the show, Splinter Fox, but it's nice to get the inside scoop here on Wrestling on the Rocks episode 1. You heard it here first. He said star power. I mean, we might get there. There's a good chance we get there. And if we do get there, I'm all here for it. And you know what? I'm all there for it because I'm going to SummerSlam. Fuck that. Spinner Fox says, unless, damn it, they do Brock versus Drew SummerSlam, that would suck. I don't like both. I'll tell you on that one, I'm easily cheering for Brock. I'm like, take that title back and never come back with it. I don't care. You never have to defend it again.
I'll be the first one chanting Suplex City.
Suplex City. Kev, I don't know if there's anything else about wrestling we haven't already talked about.
There, just on a side note, Carmella's Wine Capo Cagna kind of has a little tease happening, and it was a little gif of Carmela with some rosé. So
It appeared to be a rosé or a Zinfandel. Hard to say, but a bit of a pinkish wine, if I do say so.
she said some news is happening soon. And while you buy her wine at capocagna.com in the month of June, 20% of all proceeds will go to LGBTQ.
Trevor's Project.
Trevor's Project, which helps LGBTQ community.
Yeah, for suicide prevention and something like chaotic events kind of a deal. It's basically to help the LGBTQ teen scene in their mental health and such. So a really good project, and a lot of their sales are going towards it right now. Kev, there's one other thing here Splinter Fox did say before I move along on it, was that the Broski is entering GCW. That's right. Matt Cardona has basically pissed in the face of Nick Gage. Are you familiar with who Nick Gage is?
Yes.
It says him versus Nick Gage. That's going to be a championship match coming up, I believe, next month. I'll have to look at the date and time. Or you can check out Pro Wrestling for Life with Sean X-Pac Waltman this week on Thursday, where he has an interview with Matt Cardona, and he goes in depth on this one. And we do mention when that show is happening. It's going to be for the homecoming show. He goes, man, if it's a death match, and it is, Splinter Fox, it is, I don't know what to think about it. I guess pray for the man. He is going to get destroyed. Kev, what do you think about the idea of Matt Cardona kicking up dirt around Nick Gage and saying, fuck it, let's see what happens?
I mean, I like it. It's good for Matt Cardona's brand.
Yeah. I don't hate it. I think it's a bit wild. I think what's interesting about it is he's always been the internet wrestling champion for quite some time because of his stuff on YouTube. And what's more internet right now than indie wrestling? For him to kind of be going around and being like, well, let me pick and choose my spots. And for it to happen kind of organically, because I don't think that him and Nick Gage was predetermined. I don't think he reached out to Nick Gage and said, hey, what if we did an angle and kind of play it slow and do this? I think shit just kind of popped off a little organically where someone said, hey, what do you think about this? And Matt Cardona's like, who the fuck is that guy? And then Nick Gage responds with, well, who the fuck are you? And for it to kind of go back and forth on Twitter for a bit, for them to start kind of like upping it up, I think it worked itself into a match. But I will say there's every reason to believe that Matt Cardona is in way over his head. If there's anything we know about Nick Gage, is that he has no right being allowed violence around human beings because he doesn't know when to stop. And if there's anything we know about wrestling, is sometimes you're supposed to stop.
Yep.
So I agree. I think Matt Cardona versus Nick Gage is going to be a can't miss show. I think it's going to be a spectacle. I think that Matt Cardona's only bled twice in the ring outside of the one time that he did the DDT to Nick Gage this past week or two and cut himself on the glass on the mat. So I don't think we're in Matt Cardona's wheelhouse here. I'm fascinated. Kev, is there anything I'm missing on this one?
No. Nailed it.
It'd be great if he came out with all this padding.
Oh, it just comes out in like one of those dog chew uniforms that the fucking drug dog cops wear. You know what I'm talking about? Like an umpire, just fucking all guarded up. Like, let's do it.
Here.
Yeah, I made it. Spinner Fox says Matt was a filler for Mox, and that's possible too. That because you're buying some time while Mox finds some time. Although he's on leave right now, so Moxley can do whatever he wants. So he's deciding not to. Just know that about your guys' champion. Because of congrats to Renee, yeah, because he's having a baby, but he doesn't want to wrestle one single match against Nick Gage because of a baby. I don't know. Sounds like a bitch move. I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. Bishop does say watch along, and that is correct. I believe it's this Sunday. We're going to be Hell in a Cell, and we're going to be doing Drinks with a Wink. We're going to be doing a buyback with Bishop. Me and Bishop. It sounds like Lunar's not going to make it this time, which means I have to redesign the entire graphic. Because I designed it with him. He said he was going to be there. And I believe he said he's going to be training. Good bitch. and I got to redo the whole fucking thing.
It's 112.
What?
It's like 112. You shouldn't train right now.
It's too hot.
It's way too hot this
There's
week.
no point. He's outside.
This is when you separate the men from the boys.
Goddamn right. But we'll be doing a watch along this Sunday. Me and Bishop. Anybody else who wants to join, just let me know. I don't know. Kev, do you want to do a watch along for Hell in a Cell, or probably not this week?
Probably not. It's Father's Day.
It's Father's Day? Yeah, fuck. You got kids and shit. What if you told them? What if you're like, hey, for Father's Day, all I want is for you guys to leave me the fuck alone during the pay-per-view?
You can only enter the room to bring me beer.
Yeah, 100%. Don't come in here unless you're bringing me booze, kid. You just lock
Beer or
yourself in the room.
food.
But we're going to be doing Hell in a Cell, watch along. Me, Bishop, probably a lot of drinks, maybe some wings. We'll see what happens right here at Wrestling on the Rocks. Splinter Fox does say, will Matt pull a David Arquette and freak out on his own blood? I think that Nick Gage may pull a David Arquette and stab Matt Cardona in the neck with glass. So I think that there's a very real possibility. We have no idea what's going to happen here. Kev, are you ready for last call?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Guys, happy Father's Day. Happy birthday to Renee Paquette's child. Happy birthday to Bailey. That baby's got the same birthday as Bailey.
It's a lucky baby.
That's a lucky fucking baby. Ding dong, hello to the world. Same birthday as Bailey. That baby's name better be Bailey. Guys, this is at Wrestling on the Rocks on Instagram, at WOTR the show on Twitter. I am at Ref Marsh. With me, as always, the other half of the IIRonics at Kevlar on the Rocks with an X. Guys, we are going to be back on Thursday for another episode 1. That's right, episode 1 again, because we don't move on to episode 2 till we get episode 1 right. We have not figured that part out. So, guys, cheers for coming through. Thank you for having a drink with us. Thank you for taking the time to make it all the way to last call right here at the dive bar of the IWC. Guys, we'll see you for next episode 1. That's the last call.
Cheers.
Hey, producer lady here. Thanks for tuning in. Continue to support us or buy us a drink by following and putting the I in subscribe on Twitch. Or subscribe and review our podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to us. Cheers!
I would never have a drink with wrestling.